Chapter 3706. The surrounding followers of the Rain clan also had ugly expressions on their faces. Damn it, they had really failed. Wuxia had really been eliminated. Damn it, they had hugged onto a huge thigh. How was this a golden thigh? This was a rotten thigh without any hope. In an instant, these people retreated one after another. There were even some who wanted to take back the treasures they had given away. This scene provoked the elders of the Rain clan even more. Wuxia stood in the crowd, trembling slightly. Although she was wearing a veil, her expression was extremely ugly. Her younger brother had actually been defeated. Furthermore, he had been defeated by Lin Wudi. This was truly an enormous irony. Before this, Lin Wudi had already been the benefactor of their Rain clan. However, not a single one of them had thought highly of him. They had even ridiculed him, thinking that he was an ant from the first astral realm. However, now reality had ruthlessly slapped them in the face. It was precisely this ant that had defeated their genius young master. Furthermore, he had even become the head disciple of the holy city. What sort of glory was this? In the sky, the elder of Peerless City continued. Originally, Di Ling, Wuxia and the others had already lost the qualifications to participate in the third stage. However, these people had joined hands to create trouble. Our Peerless City had given them an additional opportunity to participate in the second stage. If they could successfully pass the second stage, they would be able to participate in the third stage. However, if they failed, they would be disqualified from being a nominal disciple. They would be completely eliminated. Among them, Di Ling and Wuxia had both participated in the second stage. Ghostly had chosen not to participate. Thus, he was still a nominal disciple. In the third stage, Di Ling and Wuxia had both failed. Thus, the two of them were directly eliminated. This was already extremely clear. Now, everyone knew what was going on. So this was the case. No wonder Ghostly was a nominal disciple. Di Ling and Wuxia were directly eliminated. However, where was our young master Wuxia? The people of the Rain clan asked again. Because Ghostly was a nominal disciple, he did not come. However, Wuxia was the same as Di Ling. Why did he not come out? In the sky, the elder of Peerless City said. Wuxia had failed in the third stage. After that, we sent people to search for him, but they could not find him. We guessed that he might have fallen in the eastern spirit world. Wuxia was dead. Everyone was stunned. If Wuxia's elimination was like an earthquake, then Wuxia's death was like a storm. In fact, it wasn't just Wuxia who had lost their lives inside. When they heard that there were more than 100 people, many families collapsed. Not only were their geniuses eliminated, but they had also died inside. The others were also silent. They mourned for these people. However, everyone knew that this was very normal. Since there was a battle, there would definitely be casualties. Especially in a training ground like the East Spirit World. It was just that they didn't expect a genius like Wuxia to fall inside. I don't believe it. The people from the Rain clan also collapsed. Their genius, the hope of their Rain clan, actually died inside. This was simply falling from the clouds onto the ground. Instead, he fell directly from the clouds to the 18th level of hell. Wuxia's body swayed and she almost fell. She spat out a mouthful of blood and clutched her chest in shock. Was his brother dead? How could this be? Who killed my brother? The other elders also roared. Who was the murderer? We must tear him to shreds. There were countless experts in the East Spirit World, many disciples of the Holy City, and countless beast saints. Anyone could be the murderer. The people from the Rain clan were stunned. They didn't know who the murderer was. The others were also in an uproar. It might be a powerful beast. Yes, the beasts there were arrogant and probably didn't put the human race in their eyes. Discussions sounded one after another. The people from the Rain clan found it hard to accept. Their young master had died, and there wasn't even a murderer. Damn it, it was that brat. It might be that Lin Wudi. A voice sounded, and then countless eyes turned to look at the figure above them. Lin Wudi, could it be him? The others were also shocked. Tell me, did you kill our young master? The elders of the Rain clan roared crazily. In the sky, Lin Xian stood there with his hands behind his back. He looked down with a cold smile. He didn't answer. The people from Peerless City beside him covered their mouths and stood out, shouting coldly, "What kind of attitude is this? This is the head disciple of our third generation, representing our Peerless City. You dare to berate our head disciple? Do you want to become enemies with our Peerless City?" His voice was cold and emotionless. When the others heard it, their scalps went numb. The people from the Rain clan were also stunned. Even the followers of the Rain clan opened up a path and distanced themselves from the Rain clan. What a joke! No matter how powerful the Rain clan was, they were only a family. However, Peerless City was the holy city. With a saint king overseeing the city, it was like the difference between a giant dragon and an ant. If Peerless City wanted to exterminate the Rain clan, it would be very easy. At this time, whoever helped the Rain clan would be going against Peerless City. No one would be so stupid. The people from the Rain clan also came to their senses. They were so scared that their bodies turned cold. Damn it, they hated it so much. Lin Wudi was no longer an ant in their eyes. He was the head disciple of Peerless City. His identity was so noble that even their patriarch had to avoid him. After all, they had to be polite. "Come back," the patriarch of the Rain clan said coldly. They didn't dare to fall out with Peerless City. Otherwise, they would be annihilated. The people from the Rain clan retreated unwillingly. However, no one dared to shout again. However, they swore in their hearts that they would definitely take revenge. At this time, Lin Xian, who was in the sky, spoke. "To be honest, I'm also heartbroken that Qinya fell in the Eastern spirit world. After all, he was also a heaven's pride, someone who could have become my fellow disciple. However, it's a pity that his luck wasn't good. As for why you didn't suspect me, I can understand. That's because there is hatred between us. I once helped your Rain clan. You repaid my kindness with enmity. However, I won't pursue this matter. However, I'm not only representing myself, but also Peerless City. Therefore, I hope that you and the Rain clan can correct your attitude. It doesn't matter if you insult me, but if you dare to insult Peerless City, I'll definitely fight you to the death." Pooh. The people from the Rain clan below were so angry that they vomited blood. Many elders fainted from anger. The people in the surroundings also had different expressions. It seemed that this Lin Wudi was not only powerful, but also very smart. With a few simple words, he directly pointed out the Rain clan's despicable and shameless behavior. As for him, he displayed magnanimity. Following that, he pointed out Qianya's identity and swore to protect the honor of Peerless City. In an instant, he changed from a suspect to an outstanding genius with a boundless future. Moreover, he was the head disciple of Peerless City. As for the Rain clan, if they dared to play any tricks, Peerless City would definitely take action. Chapter 3707. Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. Rain clan? He didn't care about them anymore. If these people dared to touch him, he wouldn't even need to do anything. Someone else would take care of them. The people of Peerless City were also satisfied. Lin Xian had said that Yu Qianya's death was an accident, and he had defended Peerless City. They were naturally satisfied. The people of the Rain clan were disheartened. The people of Spirit Sealing Star were indignant. This was supposed to be their glory, but it had been given to someone else. Di Ling was trembling with anger. However, he was no longer a match for Lin Xian. He wanted to break through. He wanted to become stronger. He believed that he would be able to trample Lin Xian under his feet again. The eyes of the people from the Fiend Planet flickered. This was really unexpected. They didn't expect a dark horse to appear. It seemed like they had to warn Ghostly to be careful. Lin Wudi was too terrifying. The other clans and sects were also warning their juniors not to go against Lin Wudi. The people of Spirit Tribe were also silent. They had been disdainful of Lin Wudi before. However, he was too dazzling now. The old ancestor of Spirit Tribe snorted. "Why aren't you talking? Weren't you good at arguing before? You're too young. You can't judge people accurately. From now on, you're not allowed to go against Lin Wudi. If I find out, I'll expel him from Spirit Tribe." The others were scared stiff. "Yes, old ancestor. Well, definitely do that." Even without the old ancestor's warning, they knew that they couldn't provoke this person. The old ancestor was still worried. As for Chiu and the young people, Let them make their own decisions. Understood? Understood. We understand. The elders nodded their heads quickly. Ling Wanhua's face was pale with fright. Ling Wanhua's father lowered his head, not daring to say anything. Next, it was the grand entrance ceremony. The holy city's recruitment of disciples was an extremely important matter. Therefore, the ceremony had to be announced to the world, so that countless clans and sects would worship it. This way, it could strengthen the holy city's reputation and strengthen their power. Sure enough, at this moment, countless people presented treasures one after another, congratulating him. Among them, the most dazzling one was Lin Xian. As the head disciple, he was the center of attention. From today onwards, the name Lin Wudi would resound throughout the second astral realm. Over at the Rain clan's side, the people who had presented the gifts earlier all gathered around. Well, hurry up and return the treasure I gave you. Fellow Taoist, I'm too poor right now. I don't have anything to give to Peerless City. Therefore, I think it's better if you return the godly medal that I gave you. Granddaughter, come back quickly. It's best if you become Lin Wudi's concubine. Voices sounded one after another. The elders of the Rain clan fainted from anger once again. It was a grand entrance ceremony. Countless people prostrated themselves in worship. In the sky, 498 people stood there. Behind them were the official disciples, and further ahead were the 49 core disciples. Standing at the very front was Lin Xian. The whole ceremony not only conferred status, but also conferred rewards. Lin Xian took first place in all 3 tests and obtained 3 Dao comprehending tea leaves. This made countless people jealous. Even the eyes of those small saints turned red. This was truly a rare treasure. Its effect on comprehending the great Tao of heaven and earth was too obvious. They couldn't wait to snatch it. Of course, they didn't dare to do so. Apart from that, there were also a lot of rewards, such as divine abilities, cultivation methods, martial arts, armors and weapons. There were all kinds of cultivation pills and resources. At this moment, they were arranged in a row. Apart from that, Lin Xian also had an extra unparalleled sword. This was a sacred weapon, a treasured sword. It was forged based on the real Saint King's weapon, the unparalleled sword. There were a total of 3 swords. The chief disciple had 1 each. In other words, Ling Hu Chueshue Fu Hongye and Lin Xian each had 1. This was not only a sacred weapon, but also a symbol of status. After Lin Xian respectfully received it, he hung it on his waist. He raised his head and let the countless rays of light shine on his body. From now on, he was a member of Peerless City. With his status, even the patriarch of a clan like the Rain clan had to be respectful to him, let alone those elders. His opponents in the future would be the geniuses of other saint cities. Apart from the normal rewards, the treasures of the surrounding clans, sects, and experts were also piled up like a mountain. After a few days, Peerless City would distribute these things to Lin Xian and the others as rewards. It had to be said that becoming a disciple of the saint cities was really great. Just these resources were enough to make countless saints jealous. With Lin Xian's status, the resources he would receive in the future would probably be more than the entire Rain clan combined. This was the strength of the saint cities. Everyone was overwhelmed with emotions. They thought that in the future, this matter would definitely spread throughout the entire second star realm, because it was too legendary and too shocking. However, they didn't expect that at the last moment of the disciple acceptance ceremony, there would be an unforeseen event. In the distance, there was a crack in space. A formation flickered in the sky. Someone was about to be teleported over. And from the looks of it, it wasn't a single-person teleportation, but a group teleportation. Who would be so generous to set up such a terrifying spatial teleportation formation? The people of Peerless City also stopped what they were doing and turned their heads to look in front. The elders of Peerless City frowned. Looking at the formation, it wasn't weak at all. They wondered which saint cities it was from. However, the other party came at this time. Wasn't it too arrogant? Were they trying to go against Peerless City? The faces of the others also changed. Who was it that was so arrogant? Finally, they saw countless people descending. Accompanying them were extremely terrifying thunder and laws. They covered the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Everyone's bodies instantly tensed up. What a terrifying aura of thunder. Moreover, it wasn't just one person but countless people. Were these people from the Thunder God City? Many people screamed because they guessed that the ones who dared to do this should be the Saint Cities. And the only ones who had such a violent aura of the Thunder God City could only be the Thunder God City. However, why did the other party come at this time? They didn't know. However, the faces of the people of Peerless City changed. Even Shen Jingqiu and Lin Xian frowned. Others didn't know, but they knew. In the Eastern Spirit World, their Peerless City and Thunder God City had a huge battle. In that battle, they had obtained a complete victory. Many people from the Thunder God City had died, and countless saints had been injured. They knew that Thunder God City wouldn't let this matter rest. However, they didn't expect the other party to come at this time. Be careful, the other party didn't come with good intentions. At the same time, send a message to the Saint Cities to get some elders and experts to come over. The elders of Peerless City hurriedly gave the order. The martial artists of Peerless City started to move quickly. Soon, the teleportation formation of Peerless City flickered, and people were teleported over. Chapter 3708. Many elders walked out, each with a strong aura. Moreover, Fu Hongye was here too. Not only him, but he also brought a group of second-generation disciples. Heavens, something big is going to happen. The surrounding worshippers were dumbfounded. Could it be that the two saint cities were going to fight? If that was the case, it would be more shocking than the death of Wuxia. Their hearts were beating wildly. If something went wrong, they would run away immediately. After the people of Thunder God City were teleported out, the few elders who were leading them laughed out loud. They brought their people and flew quickly in the air, heading over here. On the side of Peerless City, a few elders gathered together and asked in a loud voice, "Friends of Thunder God City, what are you here for?" "Of course, we're here to congratulate." The people of Thunder God City laughed. "Today is the day of Peerless City's disciple recruitment. We're here on the orders of Thunder Sage King to congratulate Peerless City for accepting a genius disciple. Come, bring the gifts." The few elders waved their hands, and the disciples of Thunder God City behind them took out their gifts. Treasures were piled up like mountains. The others were stunned. Here to congratulate? Was it really that simple? Even the people of Peerless City frowned. The other party was only here to congratulate? What a joke. If others believed it, then so be it. If they believed it, then they were fools. Previously in the East Spirit World, the battle was so fierce. Now that the other party was smiling, there must be something wrong. The others did not know and thought that the two great sage cities had a good relationship. However, at this moment, the elders of Thunder God City said that other than congratulating, they also brought some of the young fellows of Thunder God City. When these young fellows heard that Peerless City had a lot of geniuses this time, they were very excited and wanted to spar with each other. They wondered if the friends of Peerless City would give them face. Hearing this, the surrounding people were in an uproar. They wanted to spar? Many people's eyes lit up, and some of them even frowned. Indeed, things were not that simple. To spar during such a grand entrance ceremony, this was not a simple competition. They were here to cause trouble. Because once the new disciples of Peerless City were defeated, it would be a slap to the face. The whole Second Star Realm would know about it soon. As a holy city, face was very important. If they were slapped in the face at this time, the reputation of the holy city would be severely damaged. When the people from Peerless City heard this, they frowned. Sparring? As expected, these people were up to no good. An elder from Wushuang City stood out. They could exchange pointers, but not now. Now is the most crucial moment of our Wushuang City's entrance ceremony. If everyone wants to exchange pointers, we will arrange a competition in the future. In the future? But these little fellows can't wait any longer. Moreover, we came from far away. I heard that there are quite a few geniuses from Wushuang City this time. If he entered the holy city and went into seclusion for 8 to 10 years and did not come out, then it would really be a pity. That's right. Senior, we're really just sparring. We won't go all out. Senior, don't worry. In front of everyone in the world, I, Thunder Saint City, will still give you face. At this time, a few disciples from the opposite side walked out. Although their expressions were respectful, Their tone was not very polite. I heard that there's a person called Lin Wudi in this exam. He's very powerful, and I want to experience it for myself. Another person walked out. When this person appeared, many people cried out in surprise. A level 5 sage. This person's strength was even stronger than Di Ling. He actually wanted to challenge Lin Wudi? Could it be that there was some hatred between the two? After all, it was normal for there to be competition between the holy cities. However, to challenge someone by name was not normal. There must be some conflict between the two sides. As soon as this was said, countless people started discussing. Many people looked towards Wuxia City. Would the people from Wuxia City agree? Many people shook their heads. Not necessarily. If they agreed at this time, it would be fine if they won. However, if they lost, it would be very embarrassing. Not necessarily. They were already being shouted at to this extent. If they still did not make a move, then they would be ridiculed even more. That's right. Also, look at how aggressive Lei Shunqing was this time. He definitely had a way to make Wuxia City make a move. The battle between the two holy cities would definitely be exciting. It would definitely be more exciting than the previous exams. That was for sure. These people were all excited. In the previous 3 rounds, they had only seen the first round. It was not fun at all. Now, if they could see the genius disciples of the holy cities fight, then they would not have come in vain. Of course, there were also some big families that were very worried, because their genius disciples had just entered the holy cities, and were about to be challenged. If they were defeated, it would be a huge blow to them. There were also some people who were very excited. Their faces were filled with excitement. For example, the Rain Clan. Originally, they looked as if they were struck by lightning. However, at this moment, they revealed a sinister expression. Challenging Lin Wudi. That's great. I'll let the geniuses of Thunder God City kill Lin Wudi. I want to see this brat's body being torn into pieces with my own eyes. They wish they could kneel down right now and beg the people of Thunder God City to make a move. On the other side, the people of Fiend Star and Spirit Sealing Star were also gloomy. After all, Lin Wudi had also defeated their genius in the second round. If someone could teach him a lesson at this time, then it would be for the best. This brat was definitely going to die. Di Ling snorted. A level 5 sage was extremely powerful. He could not even contend against him without the ancient bronze corpse. How could the other party contend against him? Moreover, this was not an ordinary level 5 sage. This was a heaven's pride of Thunder God City. A heaven's pride that could fight across realms. The people of Wuxia City also frowned. Lei Chong. They did not expect that the one who stood out to challenge was Lei Chong. This was not a new disciple. The other party was a veteran genius of Thunder God City. He was very famous. Many of them knew him. For such a person to challenge a new disciple, this was not deliberately looking for trouble. It was a provocation. Therefore, they wanted to refuse. However, they knew that Lei Shunqing would not let this matter go. After all, the conflict between the two parties was very intense. Perhaps the other party still had some tricks up his sleeve waiting for them. Moreover, they were from the holy cities. Did they need Thunder God City to give them face? So it was Lei Chong. Mr. Lei, if you want to spar you can. Why are you looking for our new junior brother? How about this, I'll spar with you. A person walked out. This was a second-generation disciple. His body was emitting a terrifying light of laws. That's right. A veteran disciple wanting to challenge a new disciple who had just entered the holy cities. This was somewhat inappropriate. When did Lei Shunqing become so cowardly? The second-generation disciples of Wuxia City also spoke coldly. When the others heard this, they went into an uproar. What? This Lei Chong was actually a veteran genius? Some people exclaimed. I've heard of him. He is very powerful. Why is he fighting against Lin Wudi? Chapter 3709. Lei Chong said coldly. I'm not interested in challenging you second-generation disciples. I only want to challenge Lin Wudi. Although he's a newcomer, his strength is very powerful. I've already seen it in Dongling World. However, because of some unexpected things, I didn't have the chance to personally experience his skills. Now, I want to have a real contest with him. Lin Wudi, do you dare? Lei Chong's eyes were filled with cold killing intent. He was indeed here to provoke. He was here to ruthlessly slap his face. Previously at Dongling Stairs he had already fought with Lin Xian. Lin Xian had killed his younger brother, and he would definitely avenge this grudge. That day, he had brought over a dozen cultivators with him, wanting to torture Lin Xian to death. However, he didn't expect that Lin Xian had a kind of poison in his hands. Not only did they not kill him, but they were also instantly defeated by him. This was simply a great humiliation. Therefore, at this moment, he must properly torture his opponent to death in front of the whole world. You want to challenge me? Sure, but I'm the chief disciple. Not just any random cat or dog can challenge me. Let your chief disciple come. The people of Thunder God City were so angry that they wanted to vomit blood. Damn, were they actually looked down on? The corners of the surrounding people's mouths twitched. Cat or dog? Lei Chong was a top genius, a fifth heaven saint. If this was a cat or dog, then what were they? Lei Chong was also furious. Damn brat, you're courting death. He roared, and the 9 heavenly thunder descended. Hey, why are you angry? Didn't you come to congratulate me? It's very impolite to be angry in our territory. Lin Xian said again. I'm not talking about you guys. It's just a metaphor. Don't take it personally. Pooh. The people of Thunder God City were once again injured. They were about to bleed. Damn. Why does this guy look like he's asking for a beating? Especially Lei Chong. He was so annoyed that he couldn't wait to go up and slap him to death. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was unperturbed. He didn't have the slightest intention to make a move. The elders of the Thunder God City also gave Lei Tsong a look, telling him not to be impulsive and to let the new disciples go first. Soon, a few new disciples from Thunder God City walked out. They had just joined Thunder God City not long ago. Us new disciples can challenge the geniuses of Peerless City, right? A man walked out with lightning circling around his body. As he jumped, he brought with him a violent and destructive power. I'll do it. The genius disciples of Wuxia City could not take it anymore. They were arrogant and unruly to begin with. Now that they were able to join the holy city, they were even more proud and arrogant. Now that someone had provoked them in public, and more than once, how could they tolerate it? Thus, very soon, someone stood out. However, he still asked the elder of Peerless City. The elder of Peerless City glanced at him and nodded slightly, expressing his approval. The person who came out was one of the core disciples, and his strength could be considered formidable. Furthermore, they also wanted to see how strong the newcomers from Thunder God City were this time, since they dared to behave atrociously in their Wuxia City. Was the battle about to begin? The surrounding people were all stunned. They didn't think that the two great sage cities would really compete with each other. This was truly an exciting piece of news. For a moment, countless people were incomparably excited. 2 genius disciples of Holy City walked out. Without any nonsense, they directly started fighting. On the opposite side, the genius disciple from Thunder God City was very powerful. He was an early stage 4th heaven person. The lightning on his body was very terrifying. It made many experts of the older generation cry out in surprise. Was this the strength of a disciple from Holy City? They were really too strong. However, the genius from Wuxia City was also very impressive. He was also an early stage 4th heaven person. He held a long saber in his hand and swept it in all directions. Every time he swept it, the sky would collapse and the earth would crack. The battle between the two was very exciting, causing countless people to cry out in surprise. It seemed that they were unable to determine the winner and loser. Why don't they have a match with me? At this time, a person from Thunder God City walked out. This person was tall and had a pair of thunder wings on his back. He was from the 10,000 ancient races. Obviously, the other party was not human. He was from the Thunderbat race. This kind of Thunderbat race was originally a thunder race. Now that they had joined Thunder God City, they were even more powerful. The moment he appeared, a vast power swept out in all directions. Many people's faces changed. Even the people from Peerless City had serious expressions on their faces. Too powerful. However, there was still someone who walked out. I'll do it. The person who walked out was shining brightly like a sun. He was Yanghao, one of the 8 great heavens prides. Now he was ranked 7th among the core disciples. Because the person who walked out was very strong, he had no choice but to take action. The people from Wuxia City breathed a sigh of relief. With Yanghao's strength, he should be able to resist. The surrounding people cried out in surprise. Heavens, is Yanghao going to take action? Isn't it too early? Don't underestimate the other party. Thunder God City's inheritance was very long, more than 10,000 years. Its foundation was above Wuxia City. And this genius from the Thunder Bat race was a mid-stage 4th heaven person. He definitely had something to rely on. Yanghao's strength was definitely comparable. Boom. The expert from the bat race sneered and took action. Yanghao also roared in anger. His palm formed a seal, turning into a huge sun that descended from the sky. Boom boom boom. The two of them fought fiercely. All kinds of laws spread between heaven and earth. Fortunately, this was the outer region of the starry sky, which was wide enough. Otherwise, the world below would have been destroyed. The crowd watched the battle nervously. The battle between the two sides was very intense. Not long after, the outcome was decided. The first battle was between 2 early-stage 4th heaven people. The genius from Wuxia City was injured. On the other side, the people from Thunder God City didn't have it easy either. Both sides were injured. It seemed like they were evenly matched. How about a draw? The elder from Wuxia City asked. The people from Thunder God City snorted and didn't say anything. However, it seemed like it would be hard to tell who would win if the battle continued. The first round was a draw. Too exciting. Too exciting. The surrounding people couldn't help but scream. It was rare for them to see such a battle. After all, the divine abilities of these geniuses were terrifying. Moreover, their battle experience was unparalleled. Some people who were unconvinced thought that their geniuses could also enter Wuxia City. Why were they eliminated? However, after watching the battle, they knew that the gap was too big. Those who could enter Holy City, even if they were ranked at the bottom, were the top geniuses. They were far from what they imagined. The second battle was also decided. Yanghao was injured. Many parts of his body were charred black. He was struck by thunder. However, he didn't care. Instead, he raised a smile. That was because the opponent's Thunder Bat was more seriously injured. Its body exploded once. Chapter 37:10. Come back, you've lost this round. The elder of the Thunder God City looked at the Thunder Bat and spoke in a deep voice. His expression was somewhat unsightly. He did not expect that Lei Bat would lose. Lei Bat said, "Old Zhang, I haven't lost yet. I can still fight." However, the elder was not willing. Those who fought were all geniuses. If they were careless and died, or if their foundation was damaged, the loss would outweigh the gain. Left with no choice, Lei Bat could only clench his teeth and walk back. On the other hand, the people from Peerless City cried out in shock. They finally won a round. Let's see if the people from Thunder God City still dare to be arrogant. Sure enough, the people from Wuxia City were more powerful. Many people exclaimed and were incomparably excited. However, there were also some experts who shook their heads. They could not come to a conclusion so early. There were many people from Thunder God City. They were afraid that the competition would not end so easily. Sure enough, 3 people from Thunder God City walked out and 3 people from Wuxia City accepted the challenge. The result was shocking. Wuxia City only won 1 round and lost the other 2. This caused Wuxia City's morale to suffer a blow. Countless people exclaimed. On Thunder God City's side, a smile appeared on their lips. Competing with them? They were still far from it. This time, they were here to teach Wuxia City a lesson, and let them know what a veteran sacred city is. Old Zhang, what should we do? Are they still clamoring for us to fight? The people from Wuxia City asked. Those elders also frowned. These people from Thunder God City were too arrogant. That's right. Their disciples had already joined Sacred City for a period of time. On our side, we haven't even entered the sect yet. We'll be at a disadvantage if we fight. That's right. Those people from Thunder God City could not be called as new disciples because they had already cultivated for a long time. On their side, they had not even entered the sect yet. If they continued to fight, it would probably involve the top few core disciples. These were all important targets to nurture. If they were to lose at this time, it would be a huge blow to their confidence. Elder, it's fine. Let us do it. Shi Bufan said in a deep voice. Shen Jingqiu, Zhishui Tianchen, Wang Xiaofeng and the others also said, we can also fight. We're not afraid of losing. It's not that I don't trust you, but the risk is too great. The people on their side have all cultivated the sacred city's secret technique. Moreover, this time, they didn't send their core disciples to the front. If you go into the water, the gains won't make up for the losses. Indeed, if the other party was also one of the top few, this battle was not impossible. After all, if he won, he would instantly become famous. However, if the other party was just an ordinary disciple who had been in the holy city for a long time and cultivated a secret technique, they could bully the core disciples who had just entered the holy city. If he were to lose, he would become the laughingstock of the world. However, if he didn't fight, he would be ridiculed by others. These elders decided to let the second-generation disciples take action. They would find a way to divert the flames of war to the previous generation disciples. It could preserve these new disciples. Initially, the human roots of the Thunder Divine City did not want to do this. They were here to attack Wushuang. How could they fight with the second-generation disciples? They wanted to trample these disciples who had yet to join the sect under their feet. It would be best if their Tao hearts crumbled. Let me do it. Just as Peerless City was in a difficult position and everyone was shocked, thinking that Peerless City would be suppressed by Thunder God Cheng, Lin Xian spoke up. He wanted to participate. No, you can't participate. The elders of Peerless City immediately shook their heads. What a joke. Even top core disciples like Shui Tianchen and Shen Jingqiu were not willing to participate. How could they let Lin Xian, the top disciple, participate? You can't go. It's too risky. They're trying to provoke you. Yes, you have to cherish your reputation now. If you want to fight, wait until you join the holy city and cultivate our secret technique. Then you can fight with him in the future. The elders tried to dissuade him. The second-generation disciples also said, yes, junior brother Lin, you can't be impulsive. Lin Xian said, this happened because of me. If I were to back down now, I wouldn't be able to answer to myself. Moreover, I believe in advancing courageously. Since I dared to use the name Invincible Lin, I am ready to fight at any time. Moreover, with the performance of the East Spirit World, don't you guys believe in me? Lin Xian looked around. The people of Peerless City were silent. Yes, this Lin Wudi was special, but they still didn't want to take the risk. Don't worry, Elder. I'll give you my head to guarantee that I won't lose. If I lose, I won't be the top disciple anymore. The people from Peerless City sucked in a breath of cold air. Even Shui Tianchen, Shi Bufan and the others were shocked. They could tell that Thunder God City was aggressive. Even if they were to participate, they wouldn't have the confidence to win. In fact, they didn't even have half the confidence. But now Lin Xian actually said that he wouldn't lose. How confident was that? And if he lost, he wouldn't be the top disciple anymore. Wasn't that a military order? But the elders still wanted to say something, but a figure said, let him try. Everyone turned around and realized that the one who spoke was Fu Hongye. They were shocked. Senior brother Fu is here? Seeing Fu Hongye nodding, the elders were silent. Fu Hongye and the others had absolute faith in Lin Xian. Since Lin Xian had said so, it meant that Lin Xian was very confident. All right, then you'll go. But be careful. Be careful of Lei Chong. Don't go against him. Don't worry, Elder. I know what I'm doing. Lin Xian nodded. He walked forward with a cold smile. Don't fight with Lei Chong? Although he said that, who knew what would happen if they really fought? It was fine if he didn't provoke Lei Chong. If Lei Chong dared to jump out, he wouldn't mind stepping on this old genius. On the other side, Thunder God City looked determined. They felt that their goal was about to be achieved. The surrounding warriors were in an uproar. Could it be that Thunder God City was going to slap Peerless City's face today? Just as the crowd was discussing anxiously, a figure walked out from the crowd. Why is it him? Tianya, who is it? Am I seeing things? Many people started screaming because they realized that a figure was walking out. But this figure shouldn't have appeared. Lin Wudi, why is he here? Yeah, he's the chief disciple. His identity isn't ordinary. If he loses, Peerless City's face will be completely lost. Peerless City shouldn't let him participate in the battle. Cries of surprise rang out one after another. Everyone knew this simple logic, but why was Peerless City doing this? Even the people from Thunder God City were stunned. Lin Wudi. They rubbed their glasses. Am I seeing things? In the next moment, they were ecstatic. This is great. Is Lin Wudi going to fight? Their hearts were beating wildly. If they could defeat Lin Wudi, it would be comparable to all their previous achievements. This was the most crucial battle. They had to trample this new chief disciple under their feet. 5 chapters. Please recommend, vote, subscribe, collect tip. Chapter 37:11. Ogo. Lei Cheng was too excited. His figure flashed, and he was about to rush up, but he was stopped by the elder beside him. Don't be impulsive. You'll scare him away if you go up. Let's find someone to test his skills first. It's best to let him win 1 or 2 rounds and then confuse him. Let him think that he can stand until the end. At that time you can make a move. Thunder. Good. Lei Cheng laughed. Everyone in Thunder God City laughed. The opponent is definitely dead. First, 2 4th Heavenly Layer Sages were sent out. Soon, 4th Heavenly Layer Sages from Thunder God City walked out. Everyone below was discussing. This Lin Wudi, what kind of strength does he have? He's just an early 3rd Heavenly Layer Sage. How can he become the head disciple? Don't worry, we'll be able to see his true strength in a while. Many people were excited. There were also some people, such as the Spirit Clan, who didn't believe it. They even thought that Lin Xian was able to obtain this position because their scientists secretly helped him. The Rain Clan was gnashing their teeth. It would be best if the people from Thunder God City killed him on the spot. The people from the Fiend Star and the Spirit Sealing Star were also gloating. If something happened to Lin Wudi at this time, it would be for the best. Di Ling's expression was cold as he gnashed his teeth. He couldn't wait to go up and kill the opponent himself. Come kid. Let me see what kind of strength you have as the number 1 person. The people from Thunder God City hooted. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. An early 4th Heavenly Layer. Such a person dared to deal with him? Ignorant of life and death. At the back, the people from Peerless City were also stunned. What's going on? Why would the other party send such a person to fight? They were puzzled. An early 4th Heavenly Layer Sage wasn't weak. In the outside world he could definitely sweep away everything and make countless people tremble. However, in the Holy City, he wasn't the strongest. He was the middle power. In their opinion, to deal with a head disciple like Lin Xian, the other party would definitely send a late 4th Heavenly Layer, or even a 5th Heavenly Layer Sage to kill him in one blow. They were already prepared to deal with all kinds of dangers at any time, but they didn't expect the other party to send such a person. The battle ended quickly. Lin Xian was victorious, and the 4th Heaven Sage was defeated. The crowd below cried out in alarm. Fighting against someone of a higher cultivation level? These people were all crazy. Could it be Lin Wudi? Normally, even if a genius was able to surpass a level, it would only be by a small realm. For example, when an early stage cultivator fought against a middle stage cultivator, how could a 3rd Heaven cultivator fight against a 4th Heaven cultivator? This was something that only top geniuses could do. Next, another level 4 expert made his move. In the end, he was still defeated. Even those people from the Thunder God realm clasped their fists and said, "Young Master Lin's strength is something we admire." However, following that, the people from Thunder God City started to attack again. This time, it was a middle stage 4th Heavenly Layer cultivator, who was also defeated. Thunder God Chengdu had lost 3 matches in a row. It could be said that his momentum had been suppressed to the extreme. On the side of Peerless City, although they were excited, the elders were frowning. What was Lei Cheng doing? The faces of the people below were filled with shock. Lin Wudi was too strong. However, the elders were also puzzled. It shouldn't be like this. These people were much weaker than Di Ling. Di Ling was a late-stage 4th Heavenly Layer cultivator with countless divine abilities. But he still couldn't defeat Lin Wuti. How could the people from Thunder God City not understand this point? Not good, I'm afraid it's a trap. Some people were shocked. The elders of Peerless City also thought of this point. They first used 3 victories to confuse Lin Xian, making him lose his mind with victory. Then they would use the real killing move. If it was really like this, then Thunder God City was too despicable and vicious. They wanted to stop it. But at this time, the people from Thunder God City started to move. 3 victories were enough to confuse this kid. Next he would be miserable. The people from Thunder God City sneered in their hearts. The martial artist who went up was also a middle stage 4th heavenly layer sage, but this was only his cultivation on the surface. His real cultivation was at the late stage 4th heavenly layer, and he had already cultivated Thunder God Chang's secret technique. His strength was definitely incomparably strong. Moreover, he attacked the opponent unexpectedly, so he definitely wasn't prepared. Young Master Lin, please advise me. The person who walked up had a human face, but his ears were pointed. Clearly, he wasn't from the human race, but one of the 10,000 ancient races. His name was Panma. Panma had a smile on his face at this moment, looking like he was just exchanging pointers. However, he was sneering in his heart. Kid, let me personally trample you under my feet. When the time comes, I want to see what kind of expression these people from Peerless City will have. Well said. Lin Xian nodded slightly, as if he wasn't prepared at all. Both sides exchanged blows, and the fight was earth-shattering. However, from the looks of it, Lin Xian still had the upper hand. Panma bitterly persevered, and he could be defeated at any time. Everyone was shocked. This Lin Wuti was very strong. However, those elders from Peerless City felt their hearts beating wildly. On the side of Thunder God City, they revealed a trace of malevolence. It was about time. At the 20th move, it looked like Panma was going to be defeated. However, at this time his palm suddenly formed a seal. Countless laws condensed in his hand, forming a treasure bottle. That was a purple treasure bottle. It was sparkling and translucent like a precious jade. On top of it, there were flames and lightning revolving around it. Thunder God City was famous for its lightning laws. Those who entered Thunder God City would cultivate this lightning law. Of course, it was impossible for a sage to only have one law. Especially some top geniuses, they would have 2 or 3 laws in their hands. Lightning was just one of them. For example, the treasure bottle in Panma's hand not only had lightning laws, but also fire laws. When this purple treasure bottle appeared, a violent aura filled the 9 heavens and 10 earths, causing many people to tremble. Even those late-stage 4th heavenly layer people's faces changed drastically. Damn it, what's going on? This aura? What's going on with this person? There's a problem. At this moment, everyone was stunned. This was definitely not an ordinary middle-stage 4th heavenly layer. This was a powerful genius, and he had a terrifying divine ability in his hands. It's over. Lin Wuti is going to be in danger. On the side of Peerless City, their faces also changed. Damn it, purple lightning treasure bottle. This was a great divine ability. Lightning and fire intertwined, and the violent power surpassed everything. Thunder God City was too despicable. They were extremely anxious. Lin Xian must not be careless. Shirbufan and the rest were also extremely nervous. Would Lin Wuti be defeated? If it was a head-on battle, he would definitely not. However, if it was a surprise attack, he would definitely be injured. Brother Lin. Shin Jinkia's heart was extremely nervous. Kid, go and die. Panma took out the purple lightning treasure bottle and aimed it at Lin Xian. Purple lightning and terrifying flames intertwined, forming a ray of light that rushed forward. Heaven fell and earth cracked. Not good. The power was above their imagination. Everyone screamed. Lin Xian's eyes also burst into a cold smile. Was he finally going to make a move? Chapter 37:12. He seemed to be careless, but he had always been careful because he knew that Thunder God City would never let him go. Finally, he felt the danger. This purple lightning Aquarius was indeed very strong. However, it was impossible to injure him. With a wave of his hand, the stellar transposition was executed. The mysterious power caused this terrifying divine ability to deviate from its direction. It flew to his left. With a swoosh, the meteor shower sank, and countless black holes appeared. This terrifying power shocked everyone. However, everyone's expression was extremely strange. Even the people from Wuxia City were stunned. The people from Thunder God City were also stupefied. What was going on? That place was very far away from Lin Xian. Even if there was an impact, it would only be the aftermath of the energy. It wouldn't be able to injure him. Panma was also stunned. What happened? How could he miss? Lin Xian pretended to be scared. He heaved a sigh of relief. Aya, what a terrifying power. I didn't expect you to be a hidden expert. However, your eyesight doesn't seem to be very good. You can actually miss at such a close distance. I have to say, I really admire you. Lin Xian looked worried and scared. Then, he looked very impressed. This made Panma so angry that he almost vomited blood. Damn it! He roared, and the purple lightning Aquarius attacked again. However, these attacks also missed. Lin Xian just stood there, and waved his finger. Those light laws left his body as if they were purposely avoiding him. In the starry sky around him, various black holes appeared as if they were going to devour the world. What's going on? Everyone was stunned. Lin Xian smiled. Seems like your eyesight is really bad. Damn it, how is this possible? Panma was also stunned. My eyesight is bad? What kind of joke is this? Even if I'm blind, it's impossible for me to miss just by using my soul. What's going on? The elder from Thunder God City asked. Panma said, I don't know how strange this kid is. I'll try to get closer. He quickly flew forward. The purple fire Aquarius in his hand flickered with terrifying light. Buzz. Lin Xian punched out. The great dragon sword spirit let out a resonant roar as it punched out, causing the heavens and earth to shatter. With a bang, the purple flaming bottle was shattered. Not good. Panma's expression changed drastically. He wanted to retreat, but the punch was too sudden. Furthermore, he was closing the distance between him and his opponent. He was completely unprepared. In a hurry, his treasured vase was shattered, and he could only use his hands to block in front of him. The precepts of fire and the precepts of thunder intertwined on his arms like two heavenly shields, trying to block the punch. With a boom, he felt as if a huge mountain had crashed into him. Then his arm was directly broken and twisted in a strange position. Not only that, but the power wasn't done yet. It rushed directly into his body. His internal organs were all shattered. His body also caved in, and many large cracks appeared. Lin Xian withdrew his hand. He stood there, an expanse of primal chaos in front of him. Natural laws pervaded the air, leaving one shaken. The surrounding people were stunned. They didn't expect Lin Xian to suddenly make a move. Moreover, it was such a powerful blow. He crippled a hidden expert on the opposite side. Your eyesight is really bad. You don't even know how to dodge such a big fist. Lin Xian said indifferently. What was going on? The surrounding people went crazy. The elders of Wuxia City heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that they were overthinking. This kid was much smarter than they thought. Did he win? One punch. The people of Wuxia City were shocked. Sherbufan's hair stood on end. He was also a close combat expert, but that punch just now made him feel as if he was facing a great enemy. Fortunately, he wasn't Lin Xian's opponent, but his companion. Big brother Lin Xian is too awesome. Xin Jingqiu cheered. On the opposite side, Panma stood up in the ruins with difficulty. At this moment, there were still large cracks on his body. Although they were healing, it was still a shocking sight. Especially half of his body, which was dyed red with blood. His face was even more ferocious. Damn kid, you tricked me. He wasn't a fool. He naturally knew that the other party had hidden his strength before. When he was careless, the other party launched a surprise attack. As expected, he fell into the trap. Lin Xian laughed. If you want to play, I'll naturally play with you. However, if you want to say that I'm sinister, it's a bit too much. Didn't you want to use the same method to deal with me? Damn it. Panma's pupils shrank. The faces of the people of Thunder God City instantly darkened. Their plan was completely exposed in front of the other party. Not only that, The other party actually beat them at their own game and seriously injured one of their geniuses. Damn it, this kid is really too despicable. At this moment, the people of Thunder God City felt that they were slapped in the face. Panma, come back. Since you're already exposed, it's useless to continue fighting. Panma was unwilling. However, when he moved his body, all his internal organs were bleeding from pain. He knew that he was injured and couldn't continue fighting. With a dark face, he returned to the camp. Lin Xian asked indifferently, "Does your Thunder God City still have anyone to teach? If not, then I'll go back. We still have to continue with our initiation ceremony." Lin Xian looked like he was about to leave. No, the people of Thunder God City were anxious. It wasn't easy to get the other party to come out. How could they give up such a rare opportunity? Since the conspiracy didn't work, then let's do it openly. Elder, let me go. Lei Chong couldn't bear it anymore. He didn't wait for the elder to speak and directly rushed over. The people of Thunder God City wanted to stop him, but it was already too late. The surroundings were in an uproar. Lei Chong wanted to go himself? Heavens, isn't this too inconceivable? Lin Wudi definitely wouldn't fight. That's for sure. Lei Chong wasn't a newcomer, but a disciple of the previous generation. Moreover, his strength was shocking. A fifth-layer saint. That kid couldn't possibly fight someone 2 levels above him. Kid, do you dare to fight with me? I'll give you a handicap of 1 hand. Lei Chong descended from the sky and looked down at Lin Xian. It's you. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. You lost to me, and you still have the face to challenge me. Previously in the Eastern Tomb world, I defeated you with 1 move. Lin Xian's voice spread out, causing an uproar. What? Lei Chong was defeated by him. Defeated in 1 move. Impossible, right? Everyone went crazy. Lei Chong was in existence even more terrifying than Di Ling. Moreover, his divine abilities were incomparably terrifying. Those older generation experts weren't his match. However, he was actually defeated by Lin Wudi? This Lin Wudi was too heaven-defying, right? Impossible. That Lin Wudi must be bragging. That's right, this was a provocation. He was deliberately provoking the other party. Some people didn't believe it. However, there were also some older generation experts who sucked in a breath of cold air. It was very likely to be true. Did you forget that Lei Chong directly challenged Lin Wudi as soon as he arrived? There was no enmity between the 2 sides. Why would he challenge him? When these words came out, those who didn't believe it felt their scalps go numb. Indeed, this possibility was very big. They really couldn't believe that a 3rd-layer saint could defeat a 5th-layer saint in 1 move. Chapter 37:13. Lei Chong was enraged when he heard that. Lightning surged all over his body. Kid, you're talking nonsense. I was careless when you used poison. Everyone was in an uproar when they heard that. Could it be that Lei Chong had really suffered in the hands of Lin Fan? If an expert loses, then so be it. There's no such thing as carelessness. Lin Xian shook his head. You have a bad mentality. If I defeat you again this time, will you vomit blood in anger? For your safety, you'd better step down. He waved his hand impatiently. Lei Chong was furious. He gritted his teeth and white smoke came out of his nose. Say that after you defeat me. He turned into a bolt of lightning and rushed over. So fast. Before the crowd could see clearly, Lei Chong had already arrived beside Lin Xian. Not good. The expressions of the Peerless City elders changed drastically. Lei Chong doesn't know the rules. Some of the 2nd-generation disciples were about to attack, but at that moment, Lin Xian roared. I'm not afraid of you. His voice shook heaven and earth. The laws of the 5 forms rushed out from his body and collided with the opponent's lightning. A terrifying explosion shook the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Many people were stunned and almost fainted. Some even knelt on the ground in fear. The surrounding spectators retreated crazily. It was not that there had never been a battle between geniuses before, but it was so thrilling. The moment the 2 of them attacked, they could not withstand it. There's no need to attack first. That kid should be able to do it. Fu Hongya said. The 2nd-generation disciples of Peerless City were stunned. Can he really withstand it? They did not quite believe it. In front of them, Lei Chong used his ultimate move. The terrifying aura of the Tao of Lightning trembled. The sharp sword in his hand swept in all directions. Lin Xian used his fists and legs. Every kick caused the earth to shatter, and every punch caused heaven and earth to shake. He smashed onto the sword chi, causing the sword chi to be blown away. None of them could get close to his body. The two of them were extremely fast. Wherever they passed, the void would constantly crack. None of them were intact. As expected of a fifth heaven sage. He's really too strong. The other geniuses were also shocked. Sherbufan, Ji2a, Tiancheng, and the rest looked as if they were facing a great enemy. They felt that they had no chance of winning against Lei Chong. Di Ling was also horrified. If he did not send out the ancient corpse, he would not be Lei Chong's opponent. However, what made them even more terrified was that Lin Xian was actually able to contend with someone like Lin Xian. Not falling into a disadvantageous position, it was really too shocking. Was this the strength of the number one? Was this the battle prowess of the chief disciple? It was really too shocking. At this moment, all the suspicions they had towards Lin Xian had disappeared without a trace. He was like a tyrannosaurus in human form. His opponent was too strong, so strong that even Lei Chong's face was filled with shock. He didn't hold back. With his combat strength, he could contend with a fifth-layer saint in the middle stage. But now a third-layer saint was actually locked in a battle with him. He felt humiliated. Damn it. Go to hell. Lei Chong roared. His palm was filled with laws, forming a lightning cane. He slammed it down. It enveloped Lin Xian below. Lin Xian was still not afraid. His nine-yang divine body emitted light, and the black Qilin tattoo on his body did not let out any Qilin roar. He used his strong physique to resist the opponent's thunderous palm. No way. Why didn't he dodge? Many people saw this scene, and their eyes were wide open. Even the experts of the older generation felt their scalps go numb. In the face of such a shocking attack, they had no choice but to temporarily avoid it. But now Lin Wudi actually faced the attack head-on. Was his physique that strong? Wushuang City's people were worried. The Rain Clan's people were ferocious. Great. This kid is an idiot. Let him die. The Thunder God City's people were also roaring. This kid was too arrogant. In their opinion, the opponent's battle prowess was strong, but his defense could not keep up. This was a fifth-layer saint's attack. If the opponent was hit head-on, he would definitely be torn apart. Boom. The sound of the earth shaking resounded. The thunder palm ruthlessly fell, completely enveloping Lin Xian. Ha ha ha. The Rain Clan's people and the Thunder God City's people all let out carefree laughter. Lei Chong also had a sinister expression. Had he finally personally dealt with the opponent? But soon he was stunned. Something was wrong. His thunder palm was torn apart, and a figure rushed out. He broke through. The opponent came out. How was this possible? Everyone was stunned. Lei Chong was dumbfounded. The Rain Clan's people were ashen. Even the Wushuang City's people were stunned. Previously, they were sweating for Lin Xian. But now, it seemed that their worries were unnecessary. Lin Xian's physique was not inferior to a fifth-layer saint. Hill. Lin Xian clenched his left hand into a fist. His right hand drew a sword of law and slashed out. Terrifying sword chi weaved between heaven and earth. It made Lei Chong retreat step by step. Lei Chong roared. Get lost. He opened his hands. Thunder slowly rolled down, forming a sea of thunder. Lin Xian retreated. His body was trembling, but he was not injured. The strength of his physique was beyond everyone's imagination. Thunder God's finger. Lei Chong launched another attack. He finally displayed the Thunder God's completion, an extremely terrifying divine ability. This was a powerful divine ability, the Thunder God's finger. The law of thunder filled the sky. The void split open, and a finger of thunder with mysterious patterns fell from the sky, pointing at Lin Xian's body. Not good. This is a peerless divine ability. Many people cried out in alarm. The Thunder God City's people clenched their fists. Had he finally displayed his ultimate skill? The Wushuang City's people became nervous again. This kind of ultimate skill was something they had to face with full concentration. Buzz. Lin Xian coldly snorted. Golden light erupted from his eyes, turning into a Qilin shield, blocking in front of him. The thunder god's finger collided with the black shield, producing a shocking sound. The void shattered, spreading out in all directions. Could it be blocked? Everyone was shocked. In the next moment, they realized that it was blocked. What kind of shield is that? Is it a saint weapon? It doesn't look like it. It's a divine ability. Everyone was stunned. Isn't this divine ability too terrifying? It's an eye technique. Shui Tianchen's pupils shrank. He was too shocked. He was an expert in eye techniques. Naturally, he could feel the aura of the Qilin shield. He also knew how to use an eye technique to defend himself. However, compared to Lin Xian's Qilin shield, it was too weak. Not only was this guy's physique strong, but his soul was also terrifying. Lei Chong was thoroughly enraged. Black wind danced wildly, his eyes were like lightning, and the law of thunder kept surging out from his body. Apart from that, he also displayed the law of wind and the law of gold. The three great laws were displayed together. It was unparalleled. At this moment, everyone was shocked. Lei Chong was too strong. However, after a long battle, Lei Chong kept vomiting blood. One of his arms was even destroyed. Chapter 37:14. Lin Xian was even more powerful. His fighting strength had reached the extreme. The great dragon sword spirit roared, causing Lin Xian's every move to be extremely powerful. Lei Tsong was beaten to the point of vomiting blood. With another long roar, Lin Xian turned into a sword light. He was like a giant dragon, like a Qilin, traversing through the sky. He directly tore Lei Tsong into pieces. Everyone was dumbfounded. Being injured and being torn apart were two different concepts. Being injured might be a light injury, but having one's body explode was definitely a serious injury. Sure enough, the people from Thunder God City could no longer remain calm. Lin Woody's strength was out of their expectations. Damn it, I'm going to kill you. Lei Chong was completely enraged. He couldn't tolerate being injured by an ant. Thunder and lightning intertwined on his body. He took out a whip that had flames dancing on it that could burn everything. Many people screamed. This weapon was definitely a sacred weapon. Buzz. The sacred weapon, Raging Inferno Divine Whip, lashed out in all directions, shattering the void. Lei Chong's power rose again. Damn it. Despicable. You actually used a sacred weapon. The people from Wushuang City roared crazily. This Lei Chong was a fifth celestial layer. Did he really need to use a sacred weapon to deal with a third celestial layer? He was simply too shameless. The people from Thunder God City also lost face. It was no longer a matter of victory or defeat, but they were thoroughly humiliated. One must know that there was a difference of 2 realms between the two sides. Logically speaking, they should be able to kill each other in one move. But now they were actually defeated. Moreover, they were forced to use a sacred weapon. If they still couldn't win, then their face would be completely lost. Elder, don't we need to stop him? The people from Thunder God City asked. They were very worried. Those elders said. No need. Lei Chong was already angry. With his means and the sacred weapon, he could definitely win. That kid shouldn't be able to hold on for long. In their opinion, how could a third celestial layer sage have such strength? He must have taken some kind of pill in advance. Did he use a sacred weapon? Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. How could he not have a sacred weapon? He had more than one saint artifact in his hand. However, he did not use any of them. Instead, he drew the unparalleled sword from his waist. This was the saint artifact that he had just obtained. It was also a symbol of his status. I'll use the unparalleled sword to defeat you. Lin Xian held the long sword in his hand as sword intent erupted from his body. Streaks of dragon-shaped sword chi danced in the sky, tearing the world apart. At this moment, he was truly like a sword god, attacking powerfully. Why do I feel that he has become even stronger than before? Everyone's hearts were pounding as they watched. This kid couldn't be a peerless swordsman, right? Everyone was shocked. Following that, they discovered that as expected, Lin Xian's every strike was extremely powerful. After 5 strikes, the Raging Inferno Divine Whip was sent flying. One of Lei Chong's arms was cut off. After another 3 slashes, Lei Chong's head was chopped off. Defeated. Lei Chong was seriously injured by someone again. Everyone was shocked. The ones who had been defeated before weren't that strong. However, after bringing out his sacred artifact, Lei Tsong was defeated even faster. Do you still want to fight? Lin Xian asked. Lei Chong's arm and head flew back and reconnected. His face was extremely dark. His body was fuming with anger. He couldn't do anything to the other party. Ah! He roared to the sky, his lungs bursting with anger. At the back, the elders of Thunder God City saw this scene and also said, Lei Chong, come back quickly. They could see that Lei Chong was no match for the other party. Although they didn't know what was going on, they would only be embarrassed if they continued to fight. Lin Xian also waved his hand and said, I've already said that you're no match for me. You couldn't beat me in the East Spirit world. It's funny that you still want to fight. Now you know how powerful I am. I advise you to go back quickly if you don't want to die. Sigh, why is it so difficult to find an opponent? Lin Xian sighed, looking like a lonely expert. This scene made Lei Chong so angry that he was about to collapse. The others also looked strange and wanted to go up and kick him a few times. Let me see how strong you are. On Thunder God City's side, another person walked over. Lin Xian frowned. He could see that this person's strength was about the same as Lei Chong's. When he came, the other party's elders secretly gave him a few things. It should be a sacred tool. Damn it, do these guys really think that I'm easy to bully? They still want to fight with me? His face became gloomy. He was thinking whether he should be more ruthless and kill one or two of them here to intimidate them. It would also let everyone know that he, Lin Xian, was not someone who could be bullied by just anyone. The people of Wuxia City also frowned. They felt that it was not good to continue like this. Perhaps someone had some powerful trump cards. If they hurt Lin Xian, it would be really bad. They decided to make a move. At this time, a stream of light came from afar. At the same time, a cold snort sounded. Thunder God City was really shameless. They challenged again and again. How many sacred tools did they bring this time? The voice sounded between heaven and earth. Everyone was in an uproar. The people of Thunder God City changed their faces. Who dares to slander our Thunder God City? Go to hell! An elder shouted coldly and attacked the stream of light with his palm. However, that light figure dodged and turned into a woman. Thunder God City, you dare to make a move against me? Do you want to die? This voice was incomparably arrogant. It made everyone's scalp numb. There was actually someone who did not put Thunder God City in his eyes. Who was it? Thunder God City was also angry. They were already very sullen today. They were actually beaten up. Now there was someone who dared to go against them. That elder also stood out. Who is it? Don't know life from death. Get over here. He was incomparably powerful. He wanted to kill this arrogant person with a slap. I'm here for you. Come and try to touch me. The voice rang out again. At this moment, everyone turned their heads to look. They saw a beautiful woman standing there. Her jade face was incomparably cold. Her pair of phoenix eyes were filled with biting cold killing intent. That elder laughed sinisterly and was about to make a move. However, he was stunned in the next moment, because he saw something on that girl's body. It was a jade pendant. At the same time, his scalp numbed. It's you. He was so frightened that his whole body trembled. He quickly cupped his fist. So it's Fairy Lee. My mouth is cheap. Slap me. He did not dare to say anything else and directly retreated. The others were even more stunned. Fuck. Who is this girl? She could actually make an elder of Thunder God City so afraid. Some disciples of Thunder God City were unconvinced and wanted to go up. They felt that the girl was very young. She was only in her 20s. What qualifications did she have to be arrogant? However, the elder of Thunder God City was so angry that he vomited blood. Shut up. Get over here. Do you want to die? The elder of Thunder God City secretly transmitted his voice. He was the little princess of Divine Silkworm Ridge. Her father was a sage king. What? Everyone's scalp went numb. Someone from Divine Silkworm Ridge. Moreover, her father was a sage king. Her identity was so big that it was frightening. It was no wonder that the other party did not place their Thunder God City in their eyes at all. In fact, even their elders had to be respectful toward them. These martial artists of Thunder God City did not dare to be presumptuous anymore and retreated one by one. This scene caused the others to be even more shocked. They were all curious. Who is this young girl? Chapter 37:15. When Di Ling saw this woman, his body also trembled. Fear appeared in his eyes. Damn it, it's her. He subconsciously took a few steps back. The elders of the spirit ceiling star beside him asked, "What's going on? Do you know her?" Di Ling gritted his teeth. His face was cold, but he didn't say anything. He remembered the terrifying experience. In the 1 month in the East Spirit world, he was chased by this woman. She was too strong. He was chased all over the world. If he didn't have the ancient bronze corpse, he would have died in there. But even so, his ancient bronze corpse was still smashed into pieces. "It's you." Lin Xian was stunned. Wasn't this Li Hongxiu? He had met her in the East Spirit world before. They were plotted against, and then she went to kill Di Ling. He didn't expect her to appear here again. Moreover, he felt that this woman wasn't simple. She didn't put Thunder God City in her eyes. Her identity was frightening. "You're not bad, kid. You're actually the eldest disciple." Li Hongxiu looked at Lin Xian and said with a smile. Lin Xian was surprised. "Why are you here?" Li Hongxiu said, "I heard that Wuxia City had an entrance ceremony. I thought it was fun, so I came to take a look." In the distance, the elders of Wuxia City quickly came over and cupped their hands. "Greetings, little Princess Divine Silkworm. Alright, no need for so many rules." Li Hongxiu cupped her hands. She didn't seem to like this title. Lin Xian was surprised. Heavens, did the elders of Wuxia City have to bow? What was the origin of this woman? In the distance, Shi Sui Tianqian, Shi Bufan and the others were shocked. They didn't expect Lin Xian to know such a terrifying person. Xin Jingqiu gritted her teeth. There was a trace of jealousy in her eyes. In the surroundings, the experts of the other families were even more horrified. The 2 elders of the great sage city treated her with respect. This was enough to explain the problem. Especially the Rain clan, who was crazy. They were trembling in fear. Damn it, why? Why did that kid have such a terrifying person beside him? They were about to go crazy. Why did the ant that they looked down on exceed their imagination time and time again? Yu Shiqia's face was also full of despair. To be honest, she was about to collapse. Previously, although Lin Xian had saved her, she did not take it to heart because she felt that her future husband would definitely be favored by the heavens. At least, the imperial mausoleum was like this. Therefore, even if the family really wanted to do something back then, she wouldn't have taken a fancy to Lin Xian. But now, she wanted nothing more than to slap herself. The spirit of the mausoleum was very strong. In the end, he was still eliminated. And the man that she had looked down on was now incomparably dazzling. Even Xin Jingqiu, who used to be as famous as her, was now far ahead of her. Now, there was a peerless beauty that even frightened the elders of the holy city. Furthermore, this beauty had a mysterious relationship with Lin Xian. How could she not be shocked? Lin Xian, come back. Let's finish the entrance ceremony first, then I'll lead you back to Peerless City. The elder of Wuxia City said. Lin Xian nodded and then looked at Li Hongxiu. I still have business to attend to. I want to accompany you for now. He followed the elder and stood back. The entrance ceremony continued. Li Hongxiu walked over and watched from the side. She originally thought that it would be fun, but now it seemed that it was just some red tape and not much fun. The second-generation disciples of Peerless City were also shocked. They were all guessing who this person was. Wasn't he too bold? Some people were even unconvinced. At this moment, Fu Hongye walked over. You're really a troublesome little ancestor. I'll recommend you 2 fun worlds. Why don't you go and explore them? Li Hongxiu glanced at Fu Hongye. The two seemed to be very familiar with each other. She shook her head. Forget it, you lunatic. The places you go are all places with fierce battles. I'm not going. Moreover, I recently found a very interesting person. I think he can stir up the second astral realm. She looked at Lin Xian with a strange light in her eyes. Fu Hongye also nodded and said, You're right. I have the same idea too. Junior brother Lin might really be able to stir up a storm. It's time to change some things. Why? Do you want to be on the list? Actually, I also want to be on the list. However, I'm still a little short. I need some opportunities. That place will soon be open. When I go to that place, I'll make a breakthrough. Li Hongxiu said. Fu Hongye said, I've already been to the place you're talking about. I don't plan to be on the list you're talking about. That's no longer meaningful to me. As for the higher ranking list, it's just a ranking. The most important thing is one's personal strength. I can still laugh at the world without being on the list. Oh, you people from Peerless City are really... Li Hongxiu didn't know what to say. Fu Hongye said, why don't you just say it? How should I put it? As for your two eldest disciples, that Ling Hu Chuexiua is a sword maniac. You're also a cultivation maniac. You only want to improve your personal strength. You don't even fight for the important lists. Peerless City's reputation isn't very high outside. This has a lot to do with you. You're right about this. Fu Hongye didn't want to refute. They were all focused on Dao. They didn't really want to fight for the opportunity to show their faces on some of the important rankings, so he said, Isn't junior brother Lin coming? He'll fight for the things that we don't fight for. Is that so? You're quite good at reading people. There's nothing wrong with that. Once the title of Lin Wudi is released, those people will come personally even if he doesn't want to fight for it. Lin Wudi is indeed an arrogant name. I wanted to beat him up the first time I heard it. The disciples of Peerless City were shocked as they watched the two of them chat. She was definitely a terrifying woman to be able to chat with their second-generation disciple for so long. On the other side, Lin Xian and the others completed the complicated entrance ceremony. They were officially the third-generation disciples of Peerless City. Next, the elders of Peerless City gave them about an hour to gather with their families. Because some of them might have entered the sacred city and would be in seclusion for a long time. They all returned to their families and began the hour of gathering. On Lin Xian's side, there were no clans or clans. However, there were countless experts and clans flocking over. I have a treasure here for young Master Lin. I hope you won't treat me as an outsider. Young Master Lin, this is my granddaughter. She's a very good maid. You can take her with you and use her as a maid. Young Master Lin, this is a divine sword for you. These people were all here to give him a treasure, but to be exact, they were here to hug Lin Xian's leg. Chapter 37:16. These people were more than the total number of people who went to the Rain Clan, Spirit Sealing Star, and Fiend Star. It couldn't be helped. The current Lin Xian was like the sun in the sky, extremely dazzling. There were even some minor saints who came, shocking everyone. Such existences had very high statuses. Could it be that they also wanted to rope in Lin Xian? Sure enough, these minor saints also extended some olive branches, wanting to build a good relationship with Lin Xian. There were even some who wanted to make friends with the mysterious girl Li Hongxiu through Lin Xian. It could be said that at this moment, Lin Xian's limelight overshadowed everything. Lin Xian accepted all the treasures given to him without hesitation. Everyone knew how to put on a show. Lin Xian chatted very enthusiastically with these people, causing them to be overjoyed. That's great. Next, Lin Xian walked forward again. Everyone followed. Soon, they saw that Lin Xian had arrived in front of the Rain Clan. The people of the Rain Clan were shocked. Although they couldn't wait to kill Lin Xian, they didn't dare to do so. The patriarch of the Rain Clan came personally. Young Master Lin, what can I do for you? Oh, it's nothing. I just came to take a look. Lin Xian said indifferently. He didn't say anything special. On the other hand, the people of the Rain Clan felt even more pressure. The reason for that was because countless gazes were focused on them. The patriarch of the Rain Clan gritted his teeth and said hurriedly, We also prepared a generous gift to congratulate young Master Lin. He took out a storage ring and handed it over. This thing was originally prepared for Di Ling. In their opinion, Di Ling was definitely the chief disciple. They wanted to build a good relationship between both sides. Now they didn't expect that this thing would be given to Lin Xian. Lin Xian was their enemy. But they had no choice but to lower their heads. All right, thank you. Lin Xian accepted it with a smile. Next, he went to the Fiend Star and Wind Spirit Star. The people of these two worlds were also forced to take out some gifts. Lin Xian returned from a rewarding journey. The people of Thunder God City retreated. They left with shock and unwillingness. They knew that today's matter would definitely become the laughingstock of everyone. However, they swore that this matter was not over. There would be plenty of time in the future. The blow they received here would definitely be returned in other places. There was also Lin Wudi. They would remember this. They would definitely not let this person grow. On Lin Xian's side, they gathered again and teleported away from the starry sky to Matchless City. After entering Wuxia City, they were welcomed. Soon, someone led them to their respective areas. The hundreds of ordinary disciples had their own areas, while the 49 core disciples had their own areas. The place where Lin Xian lived was very good. Top-grade spirit veins occupied a large area. It was like a small kingdom, and Lin Xian was the king of this hell. He could mobilize anyone in this region, and use any resources he wanted. Not only that, because he was the chief disciple, his identity in the entire Matchless City was not ordinary. The resources he could enjoy were really amazing. He could even read some ancient books and secret techniques. Shin Jinqia's cave residence was next to Lin Xian's. It was also magnificent. After all, she was the second most likely to become the disciple of the Saint King. In addition, there was also Water Sky City, Shibufan, Wang Xiaofeng, and others nearby. They could be said to be neighbors. Big Brother Lin. Shin Jingqiu flew over as soon as she was done with her business. Because she was afraid that the purple-haired girl would snatch Lin Xian away. When she arrived, she found that there was only Lin Xian in the cave residence. Where was that woman? Shin Jingqiu asked vigilantly. Oh, you mean Li Hongxiu? She went somewhere else. She probably went to find Fu Hongya. That woman has a great background. I can't go to some forbidden areas, but she can. What is her identity? Shin Jingqiu was also curious. At this moment, a few figures walked over from afar. It was Shishui Chun, Shibufan, Wang Xiaofeng, and the others. They also came to visit Lin Xian. After all, Lin Xian would be their senior brother in the future. They still needed Lin Xian to take care of them. Moreover, they also wanted to befriend him. At this moment, when they heard Shin Jinqia's question, they were also curious. After meeting their senior brother, they first asked, Yes, senior brother Lin, what is that woman's identity? Lin Xian said, I don't know the details. I only know that our elder calls her the Little Princess Divine Silkworm. Little Princess Divine Silkworm. Could she be from the Divine Silkworm Ridge? Shishui Tiancheng exclaimed. Sima Fan was also surprised. Even Shin Jingqiu was shocked. Lin Xian asked, You know? They nodded. They knew that Lin Xian came from the first astral realm. He might not be too familiar with some of the top forces and legends of the second astral realm. He said, If we guess correctly, the Little Princess Divine Silkworm should be referring to the Divine Silkworm Ridge. The Divine Silkworm Ridge was very terrifying. It was a clan that had produced an ancient emperor. It was on par with the dragons, the Qilin clan, and the Phoenix clan. So powerful? Lin Xian was surprised. A clan that had produced an ancient emperor was an emperor clan. Thinking about it, this should be a bloodline of the emperor clan. However, this was also very shocking. No wonder the elders of the holy city had to be respectful when they saw her. Indeed, her background was terrifying. The few of them chatted. Not long after, a second-generation disciple came over and invited Lin Xian and the others to comprehend Wuxuang's secret technique. Lin Xian and the others were extremely excited. They didn't expect to be able to comprehend Wuxuang City's secret technique so soon after they arrived. Everyone followed the second-generation disciple and went forward. Wuxuang City was very big. After flying for about half an hour, they arrived at their destination. This was a place that had been transformed. The mountains had been flattened, and it was a vast plain. On the plain, there were palaces and pavilions. There weren't many of them, but Lin Xian could see that there was a huge array protecting this place. This should be a place where divine abilities were stored. Lin Xian and the others were led into a hall. There were many ancient books inside that recorded divine abilities. They were very terrifying. There were also some secret techniques that Lin Xian and the others could read here. Of course, the most important thing was the core of Wuxia City, the Wuxia secret technique. This was a secret technique that only Wuxia City had. This was a special technique that could increase one's combat strength in a short period of time. It was an unparalleled attack. Everyone was incomparably surprised, especially Lin Xian. His great dragon sword soul specialized in attacking saint techniques. Therefore, although his realm was low, his combat strength was strong. He was even stronger than an ordinary fifth heaven saint. He didn't expect that he would be able to learn Wuxuang's secret technique now. However, when he saw Wuxuang's secret technique, he realized that there was still a difference between the two. The great dragon sword soul allowed Lin Xian's every move to be far more powerful than those of the same level. It wasn't a problem for him to even fight those of a higher level. And this Wuxuang's secret technique was even more magical. It could allow one to instantly erupt several times more strength. Of course, it was only for an instant. Chapter 37:17. However, this was already enough. One had to know that in a battle between experts, what they competed for was half a move. If one could win with another move, then the advantage would be huge. It was even rumored that the unparalleled secret technique could unleash 10 times more combat power than oneself. Of course, the duration was even shorter. It was said that the unparalleled secret technique was incomplete. It was modified by countless saints, but it was already very terrifying. This was the foundation of the holy city. Lin Xian and the others were wild with joy. If they learned this secret technique, then they would definitely have a very powerful trump card. Lin Xian could use it together with the great dragon sword soul. Xin Jingqiu was also happy. She could also use this unparalleled secret technique together with her spirit body. Shui Tiancheng and the others were also very excited. Everyone could not wait to cultivate and comprehend. Just like that, half a year passed. On this day, Lin Xian opened his eyes. His body was already covered in dust. The moment he opened his eyes, all the dust had disappeared. He stood up with a look of surprise. He had already grasped the initial stage of this unparalleled secret technique. The elders of Peerless City were shocked. You really grasped the initial stage? How long has it been? Half a year. And he has already grasped it? One had to know that not to mention half a year, it was already very impressive to grasp it in 8 to 10 years. This was called a secret technique. Was this kid a monster? Or was he bragging? Elder, I really grasped it, and it's only the initial stage. There's no need to be so shocked, right? Lin Xian scratched his head. He had indeed grasped the initial stage because he had the great dragon sword soul. This kind of offensive saint technique could be said to be handy when practicing the unparalleled secret technique. The elders of Peerless City did not believe it and wanted Lin Xian to demonstrate. When Lin Xian activated 5 times his combat power, this elder looked as if he had seen a ghost. Heavens! Did he really grasp it? This movement also woke Xin Jingqiu and the others up. When they learned about it, they were also shocked. To be honest, they had only grasped a little bit of it, but Lin Xian had already grasped the initial stage. The gap was too big. Qiu, you can cultivate here first. I have some matters to attend to, so I'll leave first. Lin Xian explained. He was indeed preparing to leave. He wanted to go to a place, and that was the Fiend Star. He had not forgotten that the dark red mystical dragon and the North Demon were trapped on the malevolent planet. He was going to save them now. Brother Lin, where are you going? Qiu is going to. Xin Jingqiu was a little reluctant. The place I'm going to is very far away. If you want to cross the fog of death, you should cultivate here first. Don't worry, I'm not in any danger. Xin Jingqiu nodded obediently. Shui Tianchen and the others were shocked. What was Lin Xian trying to do? Was he going back to the first astral boundary? Even the elders from Wuxia City frowned. You've just arrived at Saint City, so you should hurry up and cultivate. After a few years, he would go out again. I can't wait any longer. Elder, I have some friends who are trapped on the Fiend Star. I have to save them. Fiend Star? Elder Wuxuang was shocked. That place is too dangerous. No, I have to report it. Wait here. He went to report it. Soon someone came. The person who came was Fu Hongye. Junior brother Lin, you're going to the Fiend Star? Fu Hongye asked. Lin Xian nodded. My friends are there. I have to save them. Alright, I won't stop you. Take this. Fu Hongye took out a token. It was a silver token with a fiend's face drawn on it. What was that? Lin Xian was shocked. Fu Hongye said that he had saved someone in the past. Later, that person went to the Fiend Star. He was indebted to me, so he gave me this token. When the time comes, take this token and find someone called Ah Kuan. He can help you. Thank you, senior brother. Lin Xian took the silver token and said goodbye to everyone. He left Wuxia City. He boarded the Black Earth and flew at full speed. Lin Xian was a little impatient. He wondered how the Dark Red Divine Dragon and Northern Devil were doing on the Fiend Star. With their talent and strength, they should be able to survive on the Fiend Star. On the other side, the families had returned. The matter of Wuxia City quickly spread throughout the second astral realm. Lin Xian and Lin Wudi's names had spread. Everyone knew that Wuxia City had accepted such a powerful chief disciple. He was only at the third celestial layer, but he had defeated a fifth celestial layer genius. This made countless people exclaim in shock. Lei Shencheng's expression was ugly. They had really lost this time. They had lost face. The Rain Clan's faces were ashen. They had provoked such a powerful enemy. Moreover, their young master Qinya had died inside. After returning to the clan, the Rain Clan's people gritted their teeth. That damned Lin Wudi. Those elders also said that they suspected that young master Qianya's death was related to that Lin Wudi. However, what could they do? The other party was now the chief disciple of Wuxia City. They were no match for him. Reporting to the Patriarch, Di Ling and the people of Spirit Sealing Star had arrived. Outside, a disciple reported. As soon as these words came out, the Rain Clan was shocked. Where are they? The Rain Clan's Patriarch asked quickly. They were outside. The Rain Clan's Patriarch exclaimed. Quickly invite them in. Soon several figures walked in. They were the elders of Spirit Sealing Star. Apart from them, there was also Di Ling. I wonder why you all came here? Please have a seat. The Rain Clan's Patriarch said with a smile. The other elders also had respectful looks on their faces. We came here to join hands. I'm going to join hands to kill Lin Wudi. As soon as Di Ling spoke, everyone was shocked. Kill Lin Wudi. Those elders' hearts were beating wildly. There were also some people who were overjoyed. This Lin Wudi was too arrogant. He actually dared to plot against our young master. The elders of Yu Qianya's lineage were all gnashing their teeth. They had lost such a genius. How could they possibly swallow this anger? Di Ling said. I also want to kill him, so I came to join hands with you all. The Rain Clan's Patriarch was also shocked. Di Ling was a top genius. Although he didn't join Wuxia City, no one looked down on his strength. It could only be said that his luck was bad. Otherwise, he would definitely be a core disciple. He might even be in existence that could compete for the chief disciple position. It wasn't impossible for such a person to join hands with them. Alright, we have to discuss this matter properly. The Rain Clan was also prepared to join hands. Next, both sides began a long discussion. A few days later, the elders of Spirit Sealing Star returned. It seemed that they were preparing for the follow-up. However, Di Ling didn't leave. He still stayed in the Rain Clan. The one who received him was Wuxia. This was the wish of the elders of both sides. If they could let these two young people walk together, then the two forces could be considered to have completely joined hands. The people of the Rain Clan also hoped for this. If Di Ling and Wuxia were to marry, they would completely hug the thigh of Spirit Sealing Star. This was the best situation for now. Please recommend. Monthly votes, subscriptions, collections, rewards. Chapter 37:18. Yushichi's heart died. In order to avenge her brother, she was prepared to marry Di Ling. Of course, she had a precondition. Di Ling had to kill Lin Xian before she could marry him. Before that, she wouldn't let him touch her. Half a month later, news suddenly spread. There were two pieces of news. The first piece of news was that the Fiend Star had dug out something from the void ocean. It was very incredible. Some experts of the family were preparing to go there. The second piece of news was that someone had discovered Lin Xian's traces. That news caused the people from the Rain clan to be incomparably shocked. Especially Di Ling, whose eyes emitted a biting cold radiance. Was the news true? To be honest, they didn't believe it. How long had it been? He had joined Wushuang City, and should be in seclusion to cultivate his lost techniques. How could he appear outside? It should be true because many people had seen his traces. Where was he? Diwen asked. The elders of the Rain clan also had anxious expressions on their faces. The martialist below said respectfully as he knelt on the ground. He had been attacked by sea demons in the void ocean. Many people were affected. Among them was a black spirit boat. Lin Wudi walked out from it. Void ocean? What was he doing in the void ocean? Everyone was shocked. They couldn't understand why he would run out here instead of cultivating in the holy city. Moreover, he was going to the void ocean. At this time Yushirchia said, I remember now. When they came from the first star realm, they had several companions with them. But later, when I found him, he was alone. Maybe this time he went to find his companions. Are you sure? The elders were shocked. They had never heard of this news. Yushirchia nodded. It was absolutely true. He might have gone to the Fiend Star because it was the people from the Fiend Star who had attacked them. This was great. They could finally kill him. Di Ling revealed a malevolent smile. The Rain clan's elders also smiled maliciously. We originally planned to go to the Fiend Star. Now, we can catch him on the way. How about this? Young Master Di Ling, you and Shirchia go to the Fiend Star first. We'll send people to kill him on the way there. We're closer. A Rain clan's elders' eyes flashed with a cold killing intent. Di Ling thought about it. Alright, then I'll have to trouble you. 3 days later, they were ready to depart. Di Ling went back to prepare. Yushirchia stayed behind. She asked why Di Ling didn't attack. The elders looked and set up a formation. That brat was only at the 3rd celestial layer, but he was so strong. He must have some secrets on him. We need to capture him alive and get his secrets. The eyes of these elders shone with a cold light. Yushirchia also understood that such a secret was definitely extraordinary. It might even cause a huge commotion. If they wanted to monopolize it, they naturally couldn't let Di Ling do it. Okay, I got it. I will stay by Di Ling's side for the next few days. I will not let him do anything. Yushirchia made her decision. Everyone began to move. Lin Xian was also affected. He flew all the way to the Void Sea, but he was attacked a few days after entering the sea. It was a huge shark, as big as a mountain. Its body was thousands of meters long, and it was stirring up the seawater. One of the fog ships was attacked. Lin Xian happened to pass by, and was also affected. He walked out of the Black Earth. This was also why someone was able to discover his tracks. However, he soon took a detour. He didn't take the fog ship now because his Black Earth was already a saint artifact. Moreover, he had cultivated Taiji extinction. He didn't fear the fog of the Sea of Death. He could enter alone. Lin Xian cultivated as he flew. At the same time, there were several figures in the depths of the Void Sea. There were 6 figures in total. They were in a spirit ship, floating there as if waiting for something. Will that brat come? A middle-aged man in the spirit ship asked with a frown. He was a 5th celestial layer saint. Beside him were several others. 3 of them were 5th celestial layer saints and 2 were minor saints. Such a lineup was extremely powerful. It wouldn't be a problem for them to kill other minor saints. He will definitely come. We have already set up a trail. If he wants to go to the Fiend planet, this is the place he must pass. Since he is here, we will let him know what it means to live a life worse than death. Another old man sneered sinisterly. Don't kill him. We still need the secrets on him. If we can get them, our Rain clan will be able to improve again. Speaking until here, these people laughed. Their eyes were shining with a piercing cold light. With such a large team, no matter how talented the other party was, he would definitely die. These people were from the Rain clan. After they received the news, they quickly rushed over to kill the other party. Lin Xian didn't know about this. He was cultivating at the moment with a leaf of Tao comprehending tea in his mouth. There were many divine crystals around him. He was cultivating while comprehending the great Tao of heaven and earth. The speed of the black earth was very fast. Lin Xian was in a hurry. Therefore he was like lightning, traveling through the sea. It's coming. On this day, these people of the Rain clan stood up one after another. Their eyes were shining with a piercing cold light. They could feel a spirit ship coming over quickly. The speed was so fast that it shocked them. Even the two small saints were surprised. Judging from the speed, it should be a saint item. A flying spirit ship was a saint item. It was really rare. This kid's body was full of treasures. Don't worry, these things will be ours soon. Get ready to attack. Activate the formation to trap him. The two small saints gave the order. The other 4/5 heavenly layer saints moved quickly. They left the spirit ship and hid in the void ocean. Their palms formed a seal. The formation lit up, forming a seal that sealed the world. Countless chains spread out and wrapped around the black earth. The black earth shook. Lin Xian opened his eyes. He spat out the leaf of Tao comprehending tea and put it away. Then he asked, "What's going on?" He Tu floated over and said, "We're under attack. Someone is attacking us." "Is it a demonic beast?" Taking a detour, Lin Xian frowned. It seemed that there were quite a lot of demonic beasts in the void ocean. He Tu said, "It's not a demonic beast. It seems to be sealed by a formation." "Formation?" Boom! Lin Xian gave the order. The black earth shone brightly. Countless black lights appeared on its body and shattered all the chains on it. Buzz! It turned into a stream of light and crashed into the seal. With a loud bang, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The seal shook and countless cracks appeared. Damn it, it's so strong. The faces of the people of the Rain clan changed. I'm definitely getting this spirit boat. Killing intent burst out from the eyes of a small saint. Chapter 37:19. With a wave of his hand, he launched an earth-shattering attack. A huge palm pressed down on the black earth, holding it down. "Kid, come out and face your death." At the same time, a roar resounded between heaven and earth. Lin Xian frowned. Without waiting for He Tu to say anything, he came out of the black earth and looked forward. There were shadows in front of him. Their auras were monstrous. Obviously, they were experts. What was going on? Someone was attacking him. Who was it? Did they not want to live anymore? One must know. His current identity was not ordinary. But even so, there were still people attacking him. Was it someone from the Thunder God City who made a move? He first thought of Thunder God City. Perhaps only Thunder God Cheng would dare to attack him. After all, he had slapped Thunder God Cheng's face. Thunder God Cheng must be furious. "It's really you." The shadow opposite him let out a surprised laugh. As he strode forward, the surrounding void and seawater surrounded him, making him look like a god of the sea. There were also people walking out from the other three directions, completely surrounding Lin Xian. Lin Xian frowned. "Who are you people?" He discovered that there was no lightning aura on them. Instead, there was a terrifying water energy that could even move the surrounding sea. "Are you people from the Rain clan?" He instantly thought of a clan with such power. It was the Rain clan. However, he did not believe that the Rain clan would be so daring to provoke him. But soon, he was sure that they were from the Rain clan. A little saint said coldly, "Speak, brat. How did our young master Qinya die? Were you the one who killed him?" Sure enough, they were from the Rain clan. Lin Xian's face was cold. "You people are really reckless. You dare to provoke me? Aren't you afraid of being annihilated? Of course, we don't dare to provoke Wushuang City. But you? If you die here, no one will know. Perhaps others will think that you were killed by a powerful sea demon. Don't worry, we won't kill you immediately. We'll capture you and torture you to death. We'll make you spit out the secrets on your body," a middle-aged man said ferociously. Lin Xian glanced at him with disdain. "You? Brat, you're about to die, yet you're still so stubborn. This time we have 2 little saints and 4/5 heavenly layer saints. You won't be able to escape even if you have wings. I can only say that you are too idiotic. Even if you had twice as many saints, you still wouldn't be able to do anything to me." Lin Xian was not afraid in the battlefield. He glanced around, looking for an opportunity. At the same time, he cursed in his heart. Damn it! This Rain clan is really crazy. They sent 2 minor saints to kill me. He swore that he would definitely exterminate the Rain clan. He wanted to let these people know the consequences of provoking him. Wang. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Xian suddenly attacked. Golden light blossomed from his body, and a dragon roar sounded. He punched at the middle-aged man from before. The middle-aged man was scared out of his wits. He wanted to retreat, but the fist was too fast. He arrived in front of the middle-aged man in an instant. With a whoosh, the middle-aged man was smashed into pieces. Ah! Miserable cries rang out, causing everyone's scalp to go numb. Damn it, how dare you! The other sages were thoroughly enraged. They had an absolute advantage now, but the other party still dared to attack, and he even dared to be ruthless. You're courting death. Take him down. Just leave him with one last breath. A minor saint gave the order, and the 3/5 heavenly layer sages around him quickly attacked. The seawater surged and filled the sky. They took out a decree, wanting to completely seal Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He used the Kuan-Peng movement technique, and his speed reached the extreme. He turned into a stream of light and dodged. At the same time, he threw out the Great Destruction Spear, sweeping it in all directions. Useless brat, although you're strong, you're just a 3rd heavenly layer sage. You're no match for us. The 3/5 heavenly layer sages looked ferocious. No matter how strong the other party was, it was already very impressive that he could defeat a 5th heavenly layer sage. He wanted to fight 3/5 heavenly layer sages? What a joke, unless the other party was really a young great emperor. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly, and a biting cold light burst out from his eyes. Blue Sea Tide. He launched a soul attack. The 5th heavenly layer sages quickly retreated, and put up a defense. However, their souls were still impacted, and their faces turned pale. Take him down. I want to break every inch of his bones. An old man roared. The 3 of them attacked again. The 2 minor saints stood there with their hands behind their backs, watching coldly. They did not make a move. They did not need to make a move against a 3rd heavenly layer ant. They were only here as a precaution. However, they still underestimated Lin Xian. Lin Xian activated the Void Escape and used the Spatial Divine ability. He disappeared in a flash and appeared behind one of the old men. The Great Destruction Spear carried the aura of the Dragon Soul. It pierced through the old man's head. The old man's head exploded, and his body fell to the ground. He was kicked away by Lin Xian. Arg! A miserable cry mixed with saint blood dyed the void sea red. The other 2 saw this scene, and their scalps went numb with fear. Soon they shouted angrily. Kill! The 2 of them joined forces. This time they completely surrounded Lin Xian. They would definitely not give the other party any chance at all. Lin Xian saw this scene, but he did not retreat. Instead, he took a deep breath and activated the unparalleled secret technique. His combat strength increased by 5 times in an instant. With a loud bang, this powerful attack was launched. It was like a black torrent, colliding with the 2 5th heavenly layer saints. Then the 2 5th heavenly layer saints vomited blood and were sent flying. Their attacks were completely shattered. Not only that, there were many large cracks on their bodies. How was this possible? The 2 of them were dumbfounded. They could not believe it. Damn it! What the hell is going on? Why did the opponent's strength suddenly become so strong? Lin Xian was also surprised. This power was really unexpected. It was worthy of being called the unparalleled secret technique. Although it could only be used for a moment, it would not be a problem to kill these 5th heavenly layer saints if it was used well. They quickly healed and even absorbed the power of the surrounding seawater. Be careful. This kid has an eye technique, and the attack power is very strange. Don't fall into his trap. It's nothing. We were just careless. Now that we are in the sea, we have an absolute natural advantage. We can display super strong combat strength. The eyes of these people exploded with a biting cold light. Their Rain clan was born for water. Kill. The 4 of them roared and attacked again. Do you think that only you know how to use water? Lin Xian snorted coldly. His expression was cold. He had the 5 elements law, which naturally included the law of water. With a wave of his arm, the surrounding seawater was all mobilized by him, turning into giant dragons. Not only that, Lin Xian also poured the power of the great dragon sword soul into these water dragons. 300 water dragons spewed out. The entire sea was boiling. The 5th heavenly layer saints were shocked. Their faces were full of fear. Damn it! How was this possible? How could his strength be so strong? They were completely crazy. What kind of person was this? I'm sending it to you. Please support me. Chapter 37:20. Under the powerful attacks of Lin Xian's various divine abilities, the bodies of the 4 5th heavenly layer saints were torn apart again. One of them was directly locked by the spring and autumn lock. His soul was shattered by Lin Xian. One of them died. They couldn't believe that the 4 of them couldn't do anything to him, even though they joined forces. Then they were terrified because another one of them was seriously injured and died. The other 2 were also covered with wounds. Their scalps were numb. Supreme Elder, please save us. They cried for help crazily. The 2 minor saints were also angry. How dare you? One of them roared and slapped out his big palm. The power of a minor saint was too terrifying. This palm was even more terrifying than the joint attack of 4 5th heavenly layer saints. The 6th heavenly layer saint, which was the realm of minor saints, was a watershed. The strength of a minor saint was much stronger than that of a 5th heavenly layer saint. It could be said that it was an insurmountable gap. Therefore, this was also the reason why the 2 minor saints didn't want to make a move earlier. They really didn't think highly of him. But now they were angry. The opponent was so strong that it was beyond their expectations. But that was all. They didn't think that this kid could compete with them. Lin Xian didn't take the attack head-on. He turned into a stream of light and quickly retreated to avoid the attack. He had to admit that a minor saint was very powerful. Lin Xian's face was gloomy. What was he going to do? Kill the opponent? Kid, you can't run away. You're just an ant in front of me. There's no way for you to escape. The minor saint sneered. The opponent could only dodge when he met him. This was the gap between them. But where could the opponent escape to? So today the opponent would definitely die. He attacked a few more times. Each time he brought with him a monstrous law, causing Lin Xian to keep dodging. Lin Xian quickly retreated, but the minor saint had already grabbed the black earth with one hand and sealed it. Kid, your saint artifact spirit ship is mine. Not only that, all the things and secrets in your body belong to our Rain clan. The 2 little saints looked up to the sky and laughed. The other 2 Rain clan saints who were still alive also revealed hideous smiles. Great, they were going to torture the other party to death later. Lin Xian backed away again, his face grim. The little saint was still strolling toward him. Although this little saint was an old monster that had lived for thousands of years, he looked like he was in his 30s. He was very handsome, and could crush everything with a wave of his hand. He struck out with several laws, forming a cage that completely sealed off Lin Xian's path of retreat. Don't run, the game is over. Now I will make you kneel down obediently. In the distance, the 3 saints of the Rain clan also sneered. Lin Xian's face was gloomy, but his heart was filled with killing intent. In fact, the reason he was retreating like this was to lure the enemy in and widen the gap between the 2 little saints. From the looks of it, it was about time. Alright, you choose to kneel on your own, or I'll break your legs and pin you to the ground. Think about it carefully, said the young little saint. He looked high and mighty, not putting Lin Xian in his eyes at all. Lin Xian didn't dare to resist at all, because he was a little saint. The opponent probably couldn't even break his defense. Lin Xian didn't say anything, but he suddenly attacked. The great dragon sword soul flew out, and turned into a stream of light, flashing in the air. This scene was simply way too powerful. The 9 heavens and 10 earths seemed to have lost their luster at this moment. This was a saint's skill. And now that it was being unleashed by Lin Xian with all his might, it was even more berserk than before. He still dared to attack. He really didn't know what death was. The Rain clan's little saint's face sank. His opponent was just an ant. How dare he fight against him? Well, today he would let him know what despair was. He raised his palm again and slammed it forward, intending to shatter the beam of light. However, when the stream of light approached him, his expression changed. What was this? He was too shocked because he found that the chi of the light was incomparable. It seemed to be beyond his imagination. Damn it! The little saint's face was gloomy. He quickly retracted his palm and tried to retreat. However, he found that it was too late. The sword light was too fast. It arrived in front of him in an instant and stabbed down fiercely. Get lost! The young little saint roared and struck out with both of his palms, striking out a shocking blow. At the same time, the endless seawater combined with the law of water formed a set of true water armor, covering his body. Not good. That kid seems to have a trump card. The people in the distance also exclaimed. The other little saint snorted. It doesn't matter. So what if he has a trump card? It's just a saint weapon. With our strength, that kid can't fight against us even if he has a saint weapon. His eyes were full of confidence. The two Fifth Heaven saints breathed a sigh of relief. It would be great if that was the case. They were not afraid of anything at all. However, at this moment, a rumbling sound was suddenly heard. Endless flames soared into the sky, and terrifying sword chi roared. The place was completely submerged. What a violent aura! The two Fifth Heaven saints were shocked. Even the little saint who had spoken earlier had his expression changed. He frowned. Damn it! How could it be so powerful? Although he did not care before, his eyelids were twitching wildly when he sensed the terrifying scene in front of him. His companions should be fine, right? Ah! In front of him, a miserable voice came from the chaos, making people's scalps go numb. The little saint of the Rain clan had both of his palms shattered. Not only that, a green dragon sword had pierced through his body. That seemed to be the voice of our Supreme Elder. The two Fifth Heaven saints felt their scalps go numb. The old little saint's expression also changed drastically. It was impossible. Was his companion injured? In front of them, a gust of wind blew, and the mist was blown away. They saw an incredible scene. One of their Supreme Elder's palms was shattered, and his body was pierced by sword chi. Saint Snow dyed the sea red. How was this possible? They were stunned. That was a little saint. How could he be injured by a mere third heavenly layer ant? This was too heaven-defying. The young little saint's face was also full of shock. Damn it! I don't believe it. He was really shocked. He had used all his strength just now, and anyone below the little saint realm would be killed. Moreover, he had already displayed the true water battle armor. Even if his opponent had a saint weapon, he could still fight. This was the strength of a little saint. But now, the true water battle armor was penetrated in an instant. His body had also suffered serious injuries. Humph! A little saint is just SOL. Do you think you can kill me? Lin Xian quickly flew in front of his opponent and grasped the dragon-shaped sword chi. Puff! The sword slashed on his opponent's body, causing the cracks on his body to become bigger. Chapter 37:21. At the same time, he launched a violent punch. Like a meteor, it smashed on his opponent's body, producing an earth-shattering sound. Soon, his arm was numb from the impact. What a strong physique. Although Lin Xian had the divine body and the Qilin tattoo, his physique was only equivalent to a fifth heavenly layer. Facing a sixth heavenly layer minor saint, his arm was numb. It's as hard as a tortoise's shell. Asterisk puff asterisk. The young minor saint was enraged. An ant dared to be presumptuous in front of him. Damn brat, how dare you trick me? He knew that the dragon-shaped sword shadow was too powerful. Without it, his opponent wouldn't be able to break through his defense. So what if I trick you? You're just an old minor saint. Do you think it's reasonable for you to kill me, a third heavenly layer minor saint? Do you think you're very honorable? Today I'll slap your dog face. Lin Xian kept waving his palm, slapping his opponent's face fiercely. Although it couldn't cause any substantial damage to his opponent, the sound of the slap was earth-shattering. Asterisk pa 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 asterisk. That man's handsome face was incomparably red. That was because he was angered. Lin Xian's arm was numb. Damn, your face is really thick. No wonder you're so shameless. Damn brat, go to hell. The young minor saint roared crazily. He endured the injury and launched a crazy counterattack. Lin Xian was startled. He activated the void escape and teleported to the other side of his opponent, dodging the attack. At the same time he was enraged. The Nine Yang divine body combined with the Qilin tattoo triggered an unparalleled secret technique. Pung this time. He didn't know how many times stronger the unparalleled secret technique was, causing his strength to skyrocket. The slap landed on the other party's face, and actually caused a crack to appear. The young minor saint was stupefied. He was actually injured by a slap from the other party. How was this possible? How could his opponent have such strength without the help of the dragon-shaped sword shadow? The Rain Clan's saints were also stunned. The 2 fifth heavenly layer saints opened their mouths, so wide that they could swallow a stone. The other old man, a little saint, narrowed his eyes. His companion was really injured, and seriously injured at that. Damned brat, how dare you? When he saw Lin Xian slapping the other party, the old man was finally enraged. He turned into a streak of light and rushed over. Actually, everything that had happened before had happened in an instant. Thus, when the old man came back, Lin Xian had already smashed his face. Seeing that another minor saint had arrived, Lin Xian didn't resist. Instead, he rode the great dragon sword soul and retreated quickly. However, at this moment he chopped off his opponent's hand and snatched the black earth. You want to snatch my saint artifact? Cultivate for another 1,000 years. After tearing open the seal on the black earth, Lin Xian entered the black earth. He quickly steered the spirit ship, turning into a black beam of light that shot into the distance. Damn it, chase after him. I must kill him. I can't let him escape. The 2 little saints roared crazily. This was especially true for the young little saint. He had never been humiliated like this before. He swore to himself that he would tear the other party into pieces. Both of them turned into lightning and flew away quickly. The 2 fifth heavenly layer saints also regained their senses. They sucked in a breath of cold air. It was unbelievable that a 3rd heavenly layer ant could do this. They swallowed their saliva and moved quickly to chase after them. Lin Xian steered the black earth, shuttling back and forth in the void ocean. He wanted to kill the 2 minor saints. He planned to use the power of the death mist. This place was very close to the death mist, so Lin Xian flew quickly. The 2 minor saints kept chasing after him. The 2 of them took out 2 saint artifacts. The old man took out a fan. The young little saint took out a flying knife. The 2 saint artifacts glowed brightly. Their speed was also extremely fast. The 3 of them chased after him, one in front and one behind. Finally, Lin Xian slowed down because the death mist was right in front of him. Kid, run. Why aren't you running anymore? The 2 minor saints stopped and grinned viciously. The young little saint's expression was even more ferocious. If you keep running, it'll break every bone in your body. It'll slice off your flesh piece by piece and roast it until it's cooked. This is what you get for messing with me. He was really angry. Fortunately, the death mist was right in front of him. It could be said that the other party had no way out. Then, what awaited the other party next was endless torture. Humph! Lin Xian sneered. He had no way out? What kind of joke was this? This mist of death posed no threat to him at all. Of course he couldn't show it now. Otherwise, it would be bad if he scared the 2 minor saints away. Moreover, the 2 fifth heavenly layer saints didn't come. This time, he wanted to catch them all in one fell swoop. The 2 minor saints didn't plan to attack immediately. He wanted to let them feel the fear of death first. It would be best if they could kneel down and beg for mercy. Just like that, the 2 fifth heavenly layer saints came while both sides were holding on. When they saw the death mist in front of them and Lin Xian had no way out, they were overjoyed. Great! Let's see how he's going to die this time. Oh, since everyone is here, I'll send you on your way. Lin Xian's voice was heard. The faces of the 4 saints of the Rain clan darkened instantly. The scalps of the 2 fifth heavenly layer saints went numb. The 2 minor saints were gnashing their teeth in anger. Could it be that the other party thought that they could still survive? That he wanted to kill them? What a joke. I'd like to see how you're going to kill me. The young little saint was surrounded by a long blade. It was accompanied by a terrifying law that tore apart heaven and earth. On the other side, the old man was also holding a folding fan, blocking the other way. It could be said that he was trapped. Lin Xian snorted coldly. With a sway of his body, he directly entered the death mist. Damn it. Does he want to die? The 2 fifth heavenly layer saints were so scared that they peed their pants. Even the pupils of the 2 minor saints shrank. The other party would rather die in the death mist than be caught by them. Damn it. Don't even think about killing yourself. In their opinion, Lin Xian had no way out and was going to commit suicide. The 2 minor saints attacked fiercely. They kept attacking the death mist crazily, but they could only make the death mist spread out. They couldn't see anyone inside. Damn it. Damn it. This was already the best time to hunt, but the other party would rather die than surrender. How could they be willing to let the treasure in their hands run away? These people's eyes were all red. They did not see that Zhou's fog of death was quietly surrounding them. Even if they noticed it, they didn't care. After all, they were attacking the death mist just now. However, they soon discovered that something was wrong. Why was there more and more death fog coming out? Instead, it had surrounded them. Chapter 37:22. Not good. Run. Don't get shrouded by the mist of death. The 2 minor saints quickly retreated. The 2 fifth heavenly layer saints couldn't wait any longer and ran away like crazy. However, it was too late. A sneer came from the darkness. Do you think it's possible to run away now? Then, an overwhelming mist of death gushed out like a demonic cloud, shrouding this part of the world. Damn it. The 2 fifth heavenly layer saints screamed in fright. As soon as they touched the mist, their bodies caved in and their hair turned white. No. The 2 of them roared and activated their saint domains to resist the mist. However, it wasn't just a tiny bit. It was an overwhelming mist of death. The 2 fifth heavenly layer saints couldn't resist it at all. Their vitality was sucked dry in an instant. The strong saints became withered like dried corpses. In the end, only their bones were left. Dead. 2 saints of the 5th heaven had fallen. The 2 minor saints' faces were extremely ugly. Damn it. What's going on? Their luck had already reached such a terrible state. Not only did they fail to get the treasure, but they were also shrouded by the mist of death. Damn it. Run. The 2 of them were minor saints. They were powerful and had saint weapons. They could hold on for a while. However, they could only hold on for a while. If it was a small amount of the mist of death, they could still resist it. But now, they were in the area of the mist of death. Not to mention them, even if a saint came, he wouldn't be able to resist it. As I said, none of you can escape. At this moment, a voice came. The 2 minor saints' faces were full of fear. A voice. Whose voice was it? Could it be that there was someone else in the mist of death? The 2 minor saints were so scared that they almost peed their pants. Suddenly, the young minor saint's face changed. No, the voice belonged to that kid. He had fought with Lin Xian before, so he was familiar with Lin Xian's voice. Naturally, he could recognize it at this moment. That kid's voice sounded. Could it be that he had turned into a vengeful spirit after his death, and came to claim their lives? Their hearts turned cold. At this moment, the mist of death formed a big black palm and slapped toward him. With a bang, it slapped on his protective light and shrouded him. No, damn it. The young minor saint screamed in fear. He wanted to break through the death-light fog, but more and more death-light fog rushed towards him. Get lost. The saint Longsaber slashed out in all directions. The death mist was cut apart, but it was just mist in the first place, formless and formless. It couldn't be hurt at all, but he was scared out of his wits. The other old man was just as terrified. He raised the fan above his head, and unleashed thousands of laws to cover his body. He did not dare to act rashly. Even though his companions were now surrounded, the young little saint was furious. He couldn't figure out why the mist would attack him. Suddenly, a green bolt of lightning flashed through the fog, piercing through his defense and tearing his body apart once again. With a roar, he suddenly turned around and saw a green dragon-shaped sword shadow. Damn it, it's him. Sure enough, he saw a young man walk out from the mist of death. He was unusually handsome and had a mysterious smile on his face. It's you. You're not dead. He was completely dumbfounded. He saw Lin Xian, and Lin Xian was now surrounded by the death mist that formed a battle armor, making him look like a ghost from hell. How could this be? How could someone not be threatened by the death mist? While he was in a daze, the death mist had already drilled into his wounds. His life force was quickly draining away. He screamed crazily, but Lin Xian had already seized the opportunity. More and more death mist shrouded his body. The young minor saint felt his life force was quickly draining away. Gradually he lost all his strength. What happened? Are you okay? The other old man roared crazily. He only heard his companion's frightened voice. However, he didn't know what had happened. Run. This guy is from the death mist. In the end, the young minor saint gave his last warning. Then he turned into a skeleton. A dignified minor saint died just like that. It was really hard for ordinary people to believe. Is he from the death mist? Who is he? The white-haired old man was very surprised and sad. He didn't know what the other party meant. However, he didn't dare to stay any longer. He exerted the saint weapon to the extreme. The law of water on his body also burst out with incomparable light. It formed a monstrous wave that swept him away, wanting to leave. However, as soon as he left, he saw a figure waiting for him in front. It's you. He saw Lin Xian as if he had seen a ghost. He also saw Lin Xian floating in the death mist without being affected at all. Now he finally knew what his companion meant. However, he was too late. No, he had to send a message to the family. This matter must be spread out. The other party is related to the death mist. How could the Rain clan dare to provoke such an existence? His finger touched the formation, and he wanted to die, but Lin Xian was faster. The great dragon sword soul turned into a stream of light, and directly cut off the old man's arm. If it was under normal circumstances, Lin Xian wouldn't have succeeded so easily. But now the old man was obviously scared out of his wits. Moreover, he had already been affected by the death item, and about 1/3 of his vitality flowed out. He was no longer at his peak, so Lin Xian succeeded with this attack. The sound transmission formation was shattered, and the old man's arm turned into a bloody mist. You still want to send a message? Go to hell obediently. Lin Xian withdrew his hand, and the Tai Chi art in his body circulated. The monstrous death mist enveloped the old man. Ah. No, you can't be like this. I admit defeat. I surrender. Please spare my life. A dignified small saint began to beg for mercy, but it was useless. After about half an hour, the mist dispersed, and only a pile of bones appeared. Even the saint chi dimmed and lost its luster. What a terrifying death mist. Lin Xian's scalp went numb. Fortunately, he had the Tai Chi art. Otherwise, he would definitely die here. Humph. Lin Xian sneered, turned around and left, continuing to head toward the Fiend Star. On the other side, a few spirit boats streaked across the sky. A few noble people stood in the boats. They were the Rain clan, and the people of the Spirit Sealing Star. Among them, Di Ling and Yusiki were also there. The people of the Rain clan frowned. It should be about time. Why hasn't there been any news yet? It shouldn't be a problem. We have sent 2 small saints. When the people of the Spirit Sealing Star heard this, they nodded. They shouldn't overestimate that kid. 4 Fifth Heaven saints were enough to kill him. Not to mention the 2 small saints. There was absolutely no problem. They nodded and didn't think about it anymore. Instead, they discussed the matter of the Fiend Star. They wondered what was in the coffins that the other party brought out this time. Chapter 37-23. Di Ling said that according to our intelligence, it's not a coffin but a stone box. It's very old and comes in different sizes. The big ones look like coffins, which is why the news is wrong. The small ones are only the size of a palm. It's hard to imagine what's sealed inside. But from the looks of it, it's definitely not an ordinary item. It seems that we'll have to pay a huge price this time. The eyes of many elders flickered. The battle for the treasure boxes this time will definitely not be simple. The Fiend Planet. It was a very famous planet in the Void Ocean. Rumor has it that the people in this world are either evil or ruthless. In short, no one is a good person. Those who were able to survive here were all peerless experts, terrifying devil kings. However, at this moment, there are many spirit ships floating around the Fiend planet. They are densely packed and of different sizes. They are all from the big families and sects of the second planet. They are here to see the treasures dug out of the Void Ocean. When Lin Xian arrived, he exclaimed, "The entire Fiend planet is filled with a shocking murderous aura. Ordinary people can't withstand it at all. What a strange world. I wonder how Ruffian Dragon and the North Demon are doing." Lin Xian quickly landed. He found that he wasn't the only one. There are many people around him who have different auras from this world. Obviously, they are also people from other families and sections. I wonder what these people are doing on the Fiend planet. Isn't this place where ordinary people don't come? He doesn't know that there's a sacred assembly on the Fiend planet. Lin Xian shook his head and ignored it. He landed, put away the black earth, and looked around. Someone is walking over. "Young master, do you need us to lead the way?" It's a few children. They don't look very old. Their faces are still young, and their clothes are not very good. Obviously, they can't live well in such a situation on the Fiend planet. It's already very difficult for them to survive. Lin Xian asked, "Lead the way?" "Lead the way?" One of the children, a purple-haired boy, said, "Young master, are you not here to participate in the Fiend planet's gathering?" "Fiend planet's gathering?" Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. It seems that something is indeed going on. He asked a few simple questions and instantly understood. It turned out that the Fiend planet had obtained a batch of ancient stone boxes. It was rumored that there might be incredible treasures sealed within them. Therefore, a grand ceremony was held, attracting countless experts. No wonder so many people would come to the infamous Demon Star. Lin Xian understood. He nodded. "Take me to the nearest city first." "Yes, sir, please follow me." The three children rode on a demon wolf and led the way. Lin Xian flew behind them. They traveled through the forest for about half a day. However, Lin Xian suddenly heard a blood-curdling scream. Although it wasn't very loud, with his soul he could still hear it. He frowned. The reason for that was because this sort of sound was not coming from a single location. Instead, it was coming from several different locations. He said, "What's going on? I thought I heard screams." The three youths in front stopped and asked, "Really?" "Perhaps. There are a lot of demonic beasts here. Without us leading the way, I'm afraid they wouldn't have arrived safely. Therefore, young master should follow us closely." With that, they turned around and continued to lead the way. However, the corners of their immature mouths curled up into a strange smile. After walking for another incense stick's worth of time, suddenly, the demon wolf in front accelerated and shook off Lin Xian. The three children also turned around and laughed loudly. "What are you laughing at?" Lin Xian frowned. "I'm laughing at you for being too stupid." One of the children sneered. "You outsiders are really pitifully stupid. How dare you come to the Fiend planet? You won't even know what's going on." Another purple-haired youth also snorted coldly. "Hurry up and obediently hand over your storage ring, resources, and treasures. Otherwise, you're dead meat." "Robbery?" The corner of Lin Xian's mouth twitched. To be honest, this scene was very strange. Three youths were robbing him? With just the three of you? He shook his head in disdain. "Of course it's not the three of us. Do you think we don't have backing?" At this point, the three children whistled. The surrounding ground trembled, and a few huge creatures walked over. They were very tall, and one could tell at a glance that they were extremely terrifying demon beasts. The one on the left was a black bear. Its body was as big as a mountain, and there was a murderous aura in its eyes. The one on the right was a horse. Its entire body was fiery red, and flames danced on its body. It also had a pair of red wings on its back. The two demon beasts were both at the fourth heaven of the Saint Realm. As soon as they appeared, violent demonic aura spread in all directions. "Haha, do you understand now? Hurry up and hand over the things you want." The three children had smiles on their faces. The two medicinal beasts were even more ferocious. Lin Xian said, "I finally understand what those screams were about." He thought that they should be in the same situation as him. It seemed that he had underestimated the fiend's heart. Lin Xian shook his head. He did not expect to be ambushed as soon as he arrived. Moreover, he was ambushed by these little ones. You've taught me a vivid lesson, so I'll give you a chance to live. Hurry up and leave. I won't kill you. Lin Xian waved his hand. Uncle, are you retarded? You want to kill us? We've checked. You're just a saint at the third heaven. One of the children was holding an array in his hand, and there were 3 rays of light on it. Obviously, this was to test one's cultivation. The 3 children sneered disdainfully. The black bear also snorted coldly. A mere saint at the third heaven dares to be arrogant in front of me? Kneel down. He roared, and his demonic aura was monstrous. Like a huge mountain, he pressed down on Lin Xian. Lin Xian's eyes burst with a piercing cold light. It was like a divine sword that pierced through the void. The terrifying tail tooth of the demon beast instantly disappeared. Not only that, the black bear was pierced by the golden light. Its soul trembled, and it let out a scream. He was furious. A human ant dares to attack me? The big paw smashed over. The 3 children's faces turned pale, and they quickly retreated. This human is so reckless. Forget it, let's ignore him and watch the show. In their opinion, Lin Xian would definitely be tortured to death. But the result was beyond their expectations. The black bear's huge paw was grabbed by Lin Xian. With a light force, the paw was shattered into pieces. Ah! Black blood splattered all over the ground. The black bear was in pain and wanted to counterattack. Instead, it was sent flying by Lin Xian's 2 kicks. On the other side, when the flaming Pegasus saw this scene, it opened its mouth and spat out a monstrous sea of fire. Lin Xian bathed in the sea of fire. His expression was very comfortable. This little bit of flame was not enough. He opened his mouth and sucked in all the flames. Then, he spat out the 9 suns' divine flame, burning the flaming Pegasus until it screamed miserably. Hero, I was wrong. Spare me. In the end, the 2 demon beasts were beaten to a miserable state. They knelt on the ground and kept kowtowing. They knew that this was not an ant. This was simply a peerless person. The 3 children were also stunned. Their mouths were wide open, so wide that they could eat a fist. Originally, they were sitting in the distance, eating spirit fruits and watching the show. But at this moment, the 3 of them were trembling. When Lin Xian's gaze landed on them, the 3 children fell to the ground with a thud. Not good, I kicked an iron plate. The corners of the 3 youths' mouths twitched, revealing an expression that was uglier than crying. Chapter 37-24. I told you don't rob me, but you didn't listen. Tell me, what do you plan to do now? Lin Xian sat on the black bear's huge head and said indifferently. The black bear was so scared that it trembled and almost fainted. The flaming Pegasus beside it was also so angry that it vomited blood. He glared fiercely at the 3 youths. To actually lead such a terrifying person to their side. Wasn't this just asking them to die? The 3 youths were the same. Their bodies were cold, and they couldn't even speak. Don't worry, I won't make things difficult for you. As long as you can do me a favor, we will definitely do it. The black bear said with a trembling voice. Hope also appeared in the eyes of the flaming Pegasus. The 3 youths nodded their heads with all their might. Lin Xian took out a silver demon token from his storage ring and said, Do you recognize this thing? Do you know who its owner is? Silver demon token. Why do you have this thing? Seeing this scene, the black bear and the flaming Pegasus almost fainted from fright. They kept kowtowing. Lord, please spare our lives. We really didn't do it on purpose. The 3 youths were so scared that their faces turned ashen. Lin Xian said, It seems like you know. Tell me, where is the owner of this thing? This is something from the Silver Palace. The flaming Pegasus opposite him knelt on the ground and said with a trembling voice, Silver Palace? Be more specific. On the demon planet, there were some great powers that were extremely terrifying and belonged to the top forces. The Silver Palace was one of them. It was very powerful. This token was the unique silver demon token of the Silver Palace. It was something that only people above the Hall Master were qualified to possess. Silver Palace? Lin Xian's eyes flickered as he asked again. Then do you know that there is a person called a Kuan here? A Kuan? The three youths were stunned. However, the black bear and the flaming Pegasus trembled even more. If we are not wrong, this should be the name of the White Jade Hall's hallmaster. However, no one has dared to call him that for many years. Since you know, then it's easy. Bring me to him, and I'll spare your lives. Lin Xian jumped down from the black bear's head. The two fey beasts revealed expressions that were uglier than crying. Although they were also great fey beasts, compared to the Silver Palace, they were far too inferior. Even when they met Ah Kuan, they would tremble. However, they had no choice. In order to survive, they could only lead the way. Then, the black bear's body shrank and turned into a big man with black skin. He looked very fierce. As for the blazing heavenly horse, it turned into a young man bathed in flames. Lin Xian released the three youths. He didn't make things difficult for them. Lin Xian allowed the two demonic beasts to carry him on their journey. Along the way, the three of them flew at high speed. Lin Xian also understood the situation. It turned out that Ah Kun's strength had already reached the minor saint realm. Moreover, as he was one of the hall masters of the Silver Palace, his status was extraordinary. It could be said that his authority was monstrous. The flight took about 3 days. They landed in a city. This was White Jade City, the place where White Jade Hall was located. When they arrived at the place where White Jade Hall was located, the two demonic beasts didn't dare to move forward. They said, "Young master, it's just ahead, but we don't dare to enter. White Jade Hall's strength is very terrifying. If we dare to barge in, they will kill us. All right, you two can go now." The two of them waved their hands and left quickly as if they had been pardoned. Lin Xian raised his head and looked. This White Jade Hall was simply a city within a city. The gate was huge and majestic, and there were countless martial artists guarding it. These people were all kings. One had to know that kings were super experts in some places, but at this moment, they could only be guards here. One had to admit that White Jade Hall was very imposing. Lin Xian walked forward, and was stopped by a few people. "Stop right there. Who dares to barge into our White Jade Hall?" Their voices were piercingly cold. Many people looked over and exclaimed in surprise. "This kid is courting death. That's the place where White Jade Hall is located. He's probably an outsider who doesn't know what's good for him." Some natives of the Fiend planet had sinister expressions. They all had looks of disdain on their faces when they saw the outsiders. However, there were a few people in the crowd who were shocked. They were from the Rain clan. They looked at the back of the figure, and were dumbfounded. "Isn't that Lin Xian? Damn it! Wasn't he killed by their elders? Why is he still here?" "Not necessarily. Maybe it's just similar. Let's take a look first." Another Rain clan expert gritted his teeth and said. They were really too shocked. They looked carefully in the crowd. Ahead. Lin Xian looked at these guards and didn't say anything. Instead, he took out the Fiend token. Those guards originally had cold killing intent in their eyes, but when they saw the Fiend token, they were stunned. "I want to see your hall master, Kuan. Say that we are old friends." Those king-level guards were completely stunned. It was obvious that this young man in front of them had a great background. They hurriedly said, "We have offended young master. Please forgive us. We will report this." "Young master, please." A group of people respectfully invited Lin Xian in. Those people who were watching from afar were stunned. No way this kid actually went in. Heavens, isn't he an outsider? How could he enter White Jade Hall? The natives of the Fiend planet were all stunned. This place wasn't a place that anyone could enter. Even powerful saints didn't have the qualifications to enter. Therefore, they were very curious. What was the origin of this young man? In the crowd, the expressions of the two Rain clan experts became even uglier. "Did you see it clearly?" "I saw it clearly. It's that kid. He didn't die. And he even appeared here." "No, I have to go back and report this. Something big has happened." The two of them turned into flowing light and disappeared into the void. Inside White Jade Hall, it was grand and majestic. The halls were scattered all over the place. In the deepest part of the hall, there was a floating hall that shone like a pearl. This was the place where their hall master cultivated. Normally, no one dared to intrude. However, on this day an old man quickly rushed over. Even when he was far away, he respectfully knelt down on one knee. He didn't say anything. Instead, he waited quietly. After a while, a calm voice came from the white hall in front of him. "What's the matter?" Reporting to the hallmaster, someone came with a silver fiend token. He said that he is an old friend of the hallmaster and wants to see him. "Got it. Bring him to the main hall. I will go there right away." The voice came out. The old man quickly retreated. In the silver hall, a figure opened his eyes. It was a middle-aged man with a square face. There was a scar on his face that stretched from the corner of his eye to his chin. It was very sinister. This person's aura was very strong. He was a 6th heavenly layer saint, which was a small saint. Silver light flickered in his eyes. Silver fiend token? An old friend? Is it him? Chapter 37-25. Lin Xian was invited to the main hall. He drank some spirit tea and waited there. Soon he saw a figure appear on the throne in front of him. "Greetings, Hall Master." The cultivators in the main hall hurriedly bowed respectfully. The figure on the throne waved his hand, and they all retreated. Soon, only Lin Xian and the person on the throne were left in the main hall. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and looked forward. At the same time, the person opposite him also came. Lin Xian saw that it was a middle-aged man with an extraordinary bearing. The scars on his face were very obvious. This should be Akuan. Akuan also looked over. However, he was stunned. What's going on? This wasn't the person he knew. Who are you? Why do you have a silver token? He asked coldly. The atmosphere in the main hall instantly became heavy. At this moment, the main hall had become the other party's domain. The other party was the ruler here. With a thought, he could decide the life and death of a person. Lin Xian felt this powerful aura and was shocked. He said, "I'm a disciple of Wushuang City. Fu Hongye is my senior brother. This token was given to me by him." Fu Hongye's junior brother? The pressure in the air disappeared, but the domain still existed. Since he gave you the silver token, it's obvious that your relationship is not ordinary. Speak. Why are you looking for me? I'm looking for two people. Lin Xian stated his request. Akun's eyes flickered. Lin Xian asked, "Can you find them?" Akun said, "I know about the matter you mentioned. It caused a big commotion. However, there are some things you didn't expect. When the fog ship arrived at the Fiend Star, it encountered a storm. Therefore, the people on the ship were separated. Some were still captured and controlled. Some escaped. Therefore, I can't be sure who has the two people you want to find." Lin Xian asked again, "Who was the person who kidnapped the ship last time?" Akuan said it was the Fiend Palace. Lin Xian was shocked. He had heard He Xiong say that the Fiend Palace was one of the top forces in this world, just like the Silver Palace. At the same time, he knew that the previous hijacking of the fog ship was the demon child's idea. It seemed that this demon child should be someone from the Demon Palace. "The two people I want to find are extraordinary. One is a member of the dragons, and the other has the myriad demon body. The two of them were like bright pearls that could quickly shine no matter where they were. So it should be easy to find," Lin Xian said. Akuan said, "Don't worry, I'll send someone to look for it." He called his men in and gave them orders. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. With the strength of the Silver Palace, there should be a result soon. Akuan stood up and looked at Lin Xian. He wondered what Lin Xian was going to do next. Was he going to stay here? "I'll have them arrange it for you," Lin Xian said. "There's no need. I heard that there's going to be a banquet on the Fiend Planet. I want to go and take a look." "All right, I'll let White Snake accompany you. If there's anything, just tell her. She can help you solve it." Not long after, White Snake arrived. She was a young woman. She was extremely beautiful and wore a white dress. She was lovely and moving. White Snake wasn't a servant, nor was she a maid. She was a proud daughter of the White Jade Hall. Letting her accompany Lin Xian was enough to show how much importance Akuan attached to Lin Xian. Since there was someone helping him inquire about information, Xian Xian prepared to go. and take a look at the fiend banquet. The two of them left White Feather City. On the other side, the two experts of the Rain Clan had also left long ago. They quickly arrived at another city. This was the place where the people of the Rain Clan and the Spirit Sealing Star were temporarily staying. Elder, it's not good. The two experts of the Rain Clan hurriedly returned in panic. When the Rain Clan's Supreme Elder heard this, he frowned. What was going on? What was there to panic about? That brat appeared. The two of them were speaking incoherently. What? You're saying that Lin Xian appeared? When they heard what had happened, the people of the Rain Clan were stunned. The two Supreme Elders' eyes also emitted a biting cold killing intent. How could it be? We've already sent 2 Supreme Elders and 4 powerful saints to kill him. How could they fail? When Di Ling and the people of the Spirit Sealing Star heard this, they also didn't dare to believe it. Yu Shirchie said, quickly send a message to our Supreme Elders and ask them about the situation. They used a sound transmission formation to try to contact those people, but there was no response. No response. How could it be? Could it be that there was an accident? Impossible. The people of the Rain Clan screamed. Those were 2 minor saints. How could there be an accident? Di Ling and the others also frowned. Indeed, the strength of a minor saint was not something that the other party could contend against. Investigate, they must find out. The Supreme Elders of the Rain Clan clenched their teeth. If the 2 minor saints were injured, it would be a huge blow to them. They used the power of the clan to investigate quickly. Soon the news came back. Someone saw the minor saints of the Rain Clan chasing someone in the void ocean. This was seen by a passerby. It seemed that Lin Xian had indeed encountered their Supreme Elders. But what happened later? Why was he still alive, but there was no news of their Supreme Elders? They used the clan's power to investigate again. Finally, they found a trace of information. It turned out that in the void ocean, there was a fog ship passing by. They saw the fog of death fill the air, enveloping the Rain Clan's saints. What? How could it be like this? Could it be that those people died in the fog of death? After hearing this news, Yu Shirchie and the others turned pale. Di Ling and the others also frowned. How could that kid be alive? Could it be that he was lucky? Damn it, that kid killed 2 of our minor saints and 4 fifth heaven saints. Yu Shirchie and the others' eyes turned red. Kill him. You must kill him. Everyone, please calm down. I know you are in a bad mood, but that kid is a little strange. The Supreme Elders of the Spirit Sealing Star advised. Di Ling also said, yes, there are many ways to kill him. Now that he has come to the Fiend Planet, if he dies here, it has nothing to do with us. What does Di Ling mean? Yu Shirchie asked. Di Ling sneered. The Fiend Banquet this time has attracted many people. I think some people from the Holy City will also come. Thunder God's people should be here. Tell them the news. Thunder God Chung also wants to kill that kid now. Let the Holy City do it. They have more confidence. Let's do it this way. The Rain Clan's people's eyes lit up. Indeed, other than them, Thunder God City also wanted to kill the other party. After all, back then, Lin Xian had ruthlessly slapped Lei Shencheng's face in front of so many people. Leave this matter to us. Di Ling's lips curled into a cold smile. He would definitely not let the other party go back alive. He would let the other party go to hell. When he thought about how he could not enter the Holy City, Di Ling was furious. Moreover, he had lost to the other party before. This made him even more unbearable. But this time the other party would definitely die. Chapter 37-26. Evil Demon City. This was the location of the Evil Demon Feast. The entire city was huge and it was floating in the sky. It was emitting a dark light. There were all kinds of buildings scattered all over the place. The atmosphere was magnificent. There were even some mountains, spirit springs, and waterfalls. It was the complete opposite of the terrifying atmosphere. This completely different atmosphere made Evil Demon City very mysterious. At this moment, Evil Demon City was very lively, because everyone who wanted to participate in the Evil Demon Feast had come here. Although the Evil Demon Feast had not started yet, The place was already bustling with noise. Lin Xian and White Snake also went in. After entering, Lin Xian exclaimed. There were experts everywhere in the city. Saints could be seen everywhere, and many of them were young. Obviously, they were all geniuses. Of course, there were also many experts of the older generation. As for the stronger ones, like the small saints, they should have also come. However, most of them were hiding, waiting for the evil demon feast. Young Master Lin, there's a small gathering tomorrow. Why don't we go and take a look? White Snake smiled faintly. She was very curious about the person she was going to accompany, because she found that the other party was only at the third heaven, but he was very calm. He was not afraid when facing fourth heaven or fifth heaven saints. This made her very surprised. What was the other party relying on? Was it just because of his special identity? The two of them stayed temporarily, and went to participate in the small gathering the next evening. This gathering was organized by some of the top forces. Those who went were all geniuses from big families. They either had talent or status. Otherwise, they would not be able to enter. White Snake got 2 invitations, and went in with Lin Xian. This time, it was held in a huge mansion. This mansion was also magnificent and brightly lit. There should be a spirit vein below. The moment they entered, they felt that the spirit chi here was very abundant, making them feel warm. They were the people of Evil Men Valley. After White Snake came in, she started to introduce them to Lin Xian. Lin Xian turned his head and looked over. He realized that there was a group of people there who looked extremely ferocious. They were all dressed in beast skins and had a primitive aura around them. They should be the people of Evil Men Valley. Other than that, many other clans and powers had also sent their representatives. Among them, there were natives of the Fiend Planet, as well as experts from the outer realms. Even the people from the Holy City had come. Lin Xian saw the people from the Thunder God City. These people from the Thunder God City had prominent horns on their heads, and their bodies were surrounded by mysterious lightning. He stood there like a god. Many people crowded around him, wanting to curry favor with him. The geniuses of the sacred cities were much stronger than the other geniuses. Aside from the Thunder God, he also saw other sacred cities. He didn't recognize some of them, but he did recognize some of them, such as the Demon City. Although some of the monstrous beasts had taken human form, they still retained their monstrous beast characteristics. For example, its tail, wings, ears, and the like were very eye-catching. There were also quite a few people surrounding these people. Enemies really meet on a narrow path. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes as he thought to himself. He wondered if Lei Chong and the 100-eyed demon saint had come. It would be interesting if they came. Seeing Lin Xian sweeping his gaze over the others so unscrupulously, some of the surrounding people were shocked. Who was this person? His gaze was too bold. They looked over and found that Lin Xian's face was very unfamiliar. They didn't know him at all. However, they knew the woman in white next to Lin Xian. She was White Snake. A series of exclamations sounded. It was White Fairy. She had also come. In an instant, many people looked over here. There were even a few young people with handsome smiles on their faces, as they walked over quickly. White Fairy, long time no see. A handsome man in blue armor shakes the spirit wine in his hand and smiles faintly. White Fairy, I was just talking about you. I didn't expect you to come. This way, please. Let's chat for a while. Someone invited her. There were even people who invited White Fairy to dance. Although Lin Xian and White Snake were standing very close to each other, at this moment, they seemed to be ignored by everyone. However, he wasn't angry. Instead, he looked at this scene with interest. It seemed that White Snake was very popular. White Snake had seen this kind of scene many times, so she dealt with it calmly. After politely rejecting these people, she looked at Lin Xian. Young Master Lin, let's go over there and sit. As soon as she said this, the crowd was in an uproar. They were all stunned. What was going on? White Snake actually came with someone else. In an instant, countless eyes all looked at Lin Xian with hostility in their eyes. Who was this? How could he walk with White Fairy? Damn it, could it be that someone else beat him to it? Some young talents gritted their teeth and looked unfriendly. If it were anyone else, They would have been scared out of their wits and turned pale when surrounded by so many hostile gazes. However, Lin Xian was calm and didn't seem to be affected at all. Hearing White Snake's words, he nodded slightly. Okay, let's go. As he spoke, he walked side by side with White Snake in a direction in the distance. At this moment, the surrounding people were in an uproar. Oh my god! Did you see that? That kid only has a cultivation level of level 3. So weak? What right does he have to walk with White Fairy? If he was a top expert, they would accept it. After all, they were inferior. But now, how could a level 3 sage be qualified to compete with them? Moreover, he was only at the beginning of level 3. What a joke. White Fairy, may I know who this young master is? Someone asked eerily. Yeah, why didn't White Fairy introduce him? Could it be that this is White Fairy's servant? But this servant doesn't seem to know the rules. Some people were sinister, purposely lowering Lin Xian's status. After hearing this, Lin Xian was expressionless. White Snake's face darkened. Everyone, don't be rude. This is young Master Lin, my friend. Young Master Lin? Which young Master Lin? They had never heard of him. Everyone was confused. Indeed, although Lin Woody's name was well known in the world, not many people had seen his real face. Moreover, there were countless worlds in the second astral realm, and there were countless warriors in each world. So there were too many people who had never seen Lin Xian before. Of course, if the name Lin Woody was mentioned, they would definitely nod to show that they had heard of him. Seeing that everyone was disdainful, White Snake said, "This young Master Lin is an important guest of White Jade Hall. Please don't be rude." An important guest of White Jade Hall? Everyone was shocked again. Could it be that this person has a powerful background? However, some people sneered because their strength was not weaker than White Jade Hall. So they didn't care. Really? When did White Jade Hall fall to this point? How can a level 3 person be an important guest? Yeah, who is this young Master Lin? Could it be that he is Lin Woody? Ha 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 ha. Everyone laughed in disbelief. Who is Lin Woody? How can he be so low-key? You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.